Okay, here we are again. Sorry if the stretching took a little longer than usual. I am currently nursing the most stubborn kink I have ever had in my neck in my entire life. It is not the most painful one that I've ever had, but it is the most stubborn one by a country mile. I've been stretching it all day, and I just got, like, the trouble with it is it's in like 4 places. So like I have 3 out of my 4 different directions that I can look. I have limited range of motion. And the one direction that I can look is down. But up, left, and right, limited range of motion. Because it's like below the shoulder, like below right the bottom of the deltoids, in the middle of the deltoids, on the top of the deltoids where it meets the neck. And I when I tell you, I mean, I haven't had all day to literally stretch, because today's also my busy day. I've got to shop, I've got to cook stuff, I've got to do stuff around the house. So I've been stretching it as much as I can, and I have not gotten it, and it's been hours. But I think I just got one of the kinks, because, like, you know how you stretch and you hear something or you feel something just kind of like move when you're stretching? That's I just felt that sensation in there, and I'm like, oh, that's right in the spot where it causes me undue pain. Maybe I got it. And then I tried to stretch, and I was like, nope, still there. Anyway, it's a pain in my nuts, and I am currently, I guess it's a pain in my neck, literally, because that's the exact location of where it's happening, is neck and shoulders. But thankfully, I shouldn't need to do anything like where I need to look up, down, left, right very much, since the game is right in front of me for the next few hours. But if you hear me like all of a sudden jolt with pain, that's why. Nursing that kink as best I can. So it doesn't help that it's like 100 degrees outside as well. Like, it's really hard to icy hot it when the ice is basically melting as soon as I take it out of the freezer. But whatever. Anyway. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm still just trying to get it out. It's just so sore. Either way, we have a job to do, or 4 jobs to do, because a bunch of them actually got a whole bunch of job levels last time. We did job training on screen last time. Now, does that mean we'll get a promotion? Well, maybe. Probably not for the classes that we currently have, but if all goes well today, we may get a promotion for some of the classes we have. I think that might be asking for a little too much today, but we'll see how that all goes. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Final Fantasy III, the Stream Edition. I don't know why, I never noticed the waves crashing against like the edge of the thing on the rivers there. That's neat. Last time we picked up where we left off. We went to the Dal continent to go see Doga. He was going to look for the way to open up Eureka after we met him, and he allowed the Nautilus to become a submarine. And as you can see, we now have Unei in the party. We woke her up from the world of Dream by taking a lute from the Temple of Time and bashing it over her head, and by that I mean just playing it directly on top of where her body is. And on top of that, we also destroyed Odin in the Saronia Catacombs. We went to the Sunken Cave and got a whole bunch of good treasure. And yeah, everything's looking up pretty good at the moment. So the next order of business is to take Unei with us to the ancient ruins and unearth the Invincible, the ultimate airship that the ancients created. So that is the plan. Also, what I'm going to do, I think I mentioned it last time, I parked the Nautilus here. I'm going to leave it parked here because the way to the ancient ruins is basically just follow the rivers west of Saronia. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, hey Marie, how you doing? Welcome back. It's already 7:30. Man, didn't do anything today. Boy, I understand that. Today was my busy day, but quite honestly, there are days where it's like, okay, wait, where did the time go? I cannot physically fathom the fact that it's this time already, you know. Today I didn't have that luxury, but That's just because I had enough stuff to do. So I made a decision after... Am I going to be okay with just the arrows that I have? Yeah, I should be fine. I made a decision after last time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the save file that I've been using to test stuff as the save file for the super boss. So, like, we'll beat the game with this file, and then after we beat the game with this file, we'll use the one that I'm already doing the testing on with the super boss. Because it doesn't really make sense for me to just be like, okay, well, I guess I'll do all that job training all over again and get everybody's jobs levels all the way up. Like, I'll do that for these jobs, but it doesn't really make sense for me to waste all the extra time that I spent doing that last week and just do it all over again, you know? So, excuse me. So I'll worry about training jobs. Well, already did technically worry about training jobs because I did it off screen, so. But anyway, you follow the river up here, a la Final Fantasy I, going to look for Mount Gulg, and here's where the ancient ruins are, so. Incidentally to the fact that I'm going to use that file for the super boss, I did something last time that I feel like this time I'm not going to do so much, which was I went and like wandered around and looked for all of the enemies in each area that we went to, because I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to use this file or use a different file for the super boss. But now that I've decided, what I'll do basically is I'll say, okay, you know, here's the number of unique enemies that we need to find for the bestiary in this area. If we find them all on my way through, cool. If we don't, we don't, and I'll just show them at the end of the game when I show off the either 99% bestiary or 100%, depending on whether we can beat the super boss. I have yet to solve the super boss. The first phase is guaranteed, basically, at this point, but at the second phase, everything goes out the frickin' window. So we'll see how that goes. I haven't really had a chance to really do a whole lot with it today, so I will probably be trying to do some more with it tonight, and I'll probably take tomorrow not only to make sure that these kinks in my neck are out, but also to do some more cooking and also try to keep working on the super boss. So we'll see how that goes. So probably the next stream will be Monday, and then we'll go from there. This is not a unique piece of dialogue. You have like 4 pieces of dialogue, Unei. You don't have to keep repeating the same one. I got that part, actually. Alright, so we saved Ancient Ruins time. Ominous. There's 6 enemies in this area that you can encounter, along with these scholars from Saronia, so that's cool. But we've actually already encountered 2 of the enemies and monsters in a box in the Sunken Cave, those being Eater and Zombie Dragon, so there's really only 4 monsters to encounter, and I think they're pretty easy to encounter, at least according to my source. Let's see. Yeah, the first 3 are available on like the first 3 floors, and then after that, there's a group of them that are available a little less commonly, according to my source, on floors 4 through 7. So there you go. And Zeno, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Yes, when the wind is slow, when the fire's hot. Is the wind slow and is the fire hot in this world at this point? I don't know. I mean, the crystals haven't lost their light. They've just dimmed, so it might be. We'll have to see, but I don't know if there's a vulture waiting for me to see if I rot. We'll have to find out. But welcome to the stream. We're in the ancient ruins. We're trying to unearth a very large airship to use as a mobile fortress, but apparently the caves are blocked, so we're going to have to do something about that. Unei, if there was a monster right behind you, why didn't you say anything about it? You really should have. Anyway, there's eyeball enemies. Azrael! They're pretty weak. They can divide, if I remember correctly. Like, if you hit them and you don't kill them. I think I mentioned this with Eater last time. If you hit them with a physical attack and you don't kill them, they'll divide into a new enemy. But, well, with haste especially already up, and stacking with Minuet, I'm pretty sure these guys are dead like 4 times over. If not more than that. The haste that you get from Minuet is slightly different, though, as you may have seen. We went from like a red-ish color for our buff to an orangish color. So, it's a little bit different, but not by too much. Yes, it is the Sundowner theme. I recognize it. It's ingrained in my brain from how many times I've played Metal Gear Rising, so... Oh. Well, maybe we can do something about that. Unei, do you know how to handle adamantite? Or I can just fight eaters that are apparently guarding the rocks. That's also fine. Enemy spawns today have been funky so far. We'll see if it keeps up like that. I guess Unei's a real go-getter. She's already blasting the field with Holy and applying haste to my whole party. I'll take it. That's quite a bit of damage. Not quite as much as Flare, but that's to be expected. Holy does slightly less, so, you know. Just make it work. Light machine gun! I mean, it's not really light anymore. Look at the damage I'm dealing. And the enemies in here have, let me take a look at their HP values. No, I mean, 1800. Those eaters have 2700, so I guess they survived, well, almost survived one volley. That being said, I still had 2 in reserve, so I don't know. Okay. Wow, that seems pretty powerful. How'd you get your hands on those? Okay, anyway. So yeah, even adamantite, which was used to forge the ultimate sword in Final Fantasy I, crumbles before the might of the World of Dreams, apparently. All of Kirby's enemies are in shambles right now. Well, maybe you should have let us do it then? I mean, there's stones, right? I know you had to cast a spell to get it to work, but... Anyway. Yeah, you can't get into this cave unless you have Unei in your party because those adamantite rocks will block your path, so... we just waited until the appropriate time. You could have come here, like, as soon as you left Saronia the first time, but I shouldn't be using Barrage. I should be using, well, I guess it doesn't matter with, you know, you doing this, but... Since there's 2 enemies in front of me, I should be just attacking one of them with Lunith and letting Ingus get a turn so he can keep getting job levels. Yeah, see, look at the buff. See, slightly different. Oh well. Just do it next time, if I remember. Where are we at job levels wise anyway? Let me just take a look real quick. Okay, well, Eric has not quite caught up to Angus, but this is about what I'd expect from the jobs that we have and the functions that they have. Considering Eric basically gets an action every battle, it's not really surprising that he's catching up, you know. There's a Reflect Mail. Again, good magic defense on it. Not really my cup of tea, personally, but hey, you do you. Found the stairs, but before we go to the stairs, let's take a look at what's up here. Ah, I guess I found the advanced team. Are they actually doing that right now, or...? Well, you're probably right, considering we're here. We wouldn't be here if there wasn't something important here. We already did all the side quests we can do, for now. Oh, okay, well, maybe this big flying ship will help us get to where we need to be. But yeah, the actual merchants that he's talking about are in these rooms, and they'll sell you stuff that you could get... Well, they'll sell you items that you could get in other places, but the actual weapons and stuff, different story. I don't need those magic keys, but I don't think I need them anyway, but I'll hold on to them just in case, because you never know. So, let's see, anything else? I think I did inventory management last time. And it's just this Reflect Mail, I think, because it's the only new thing. So, you can rest here if you want, but I don't think we've lost any HP or MP, no. So, good. This is another thing about Ranger, it just makes it so that, like, if you have enough job levels to really just annihilate all the random encounters, you don't lose much in the way of HP and MP. Although, you know, sometimes you're burning through MP in order to do that as well, so... If you are... then there you go. Yeah, so actually here's the place right here. So we can buy the Defender sword here if you didn't find it in the Sunken Cave. And same thing with the Blood Lance, you can buy it here. So I guess if you're rocking more than one Dragoon, you can, you know, give each person a Blood Lance on top of whatever other lance you give them. We can also finally buy Medusa arrows here, but if I remember right, they're more expensive here than they are in the next shop we'll get access to, so I've got enough arrows, I'll make it to that one. I might be wrong about that, though. We'll see. Won't be too long before we have access to another shop. And then armor in here, which I think is mostly diamond equipment, but let me see. Yeah, mostly diamond equipment. Although there is this, and this is something I actually do want to buy, because it's probably the best body armor in the game for both Refia and Angus for the jobs that they're in, the White Robe. So let's buy 2 of those. Gives them not only 31 physical defense, but also 45 magic defense, so that's pretty great. It also, if I remember right, gives them vitality and mind. I forget, I guess we'll find out, but the Black Robe then would give intellect probably instead. Maybe vitality and intellect, not sure, but it has the same stats defensively. So, more of this stuff, though, that we already have. So, we don't really need to worry about all of that. So let's give them some of the new equipment we got. And is that everything other than the ribbons? Let me see, you still need a ribbon. No, you need all of your other equipment as well, so we'll worry about getting that for you later, but... yeah, so the White Robe actually gives 1 less physical defense for Refia, but it also gives a lot more magic defense. It's like 17 more or something like that, so... let's see, and you need a ribbon. Ribbon for you. Actually, no, you are going to use something other than the ribbon. But really, it's mainly just like the ribbons and protect rings, other than Eric's armor set. Once we get him the better armor above Diamond, then he'll be in good shape, and that won't be too long either. Probably won't be today, but it'll probably be on the next stream. So, alright, so town inside of a dungeon, that's neat, but let's go downstairs and continue on our quest, shall we? I just don't remember if, like, because there's a couple of areas here that I think are inside of doors, and I don't remember if, okay, this one's unlocked, so, as I say, I don't remember if they're all unlocked, or if there's just some that are. Guess we'll find out, won't we? Let's see, do that, and that should be enough to take these guys out. If not, I guess they'll divide, and they'll get more job experience. Not a big deal. Excuse me. I'm not worried about Lunith, as usual. He's got that part covered. Yeah, okay, so here's how it works. See how it just divided into a second enemy now? But if I remember correctly, it keeps the HP value, not the new enemy, but the old enemy continues to have the HP value that it had before. So because of that, you can just pick it off, and hopefully it won't divide after this. So. Can't wait until the splitting enemy in half cave, or was that here? So here some of the enemies split in half, but this isn't the actual cave where all the enemies split in half. That's coming up in a little while. So. Oh, and he multiplies. Okay. Well, that's fine. He won't be multiplying for very long. Because he's dead now. My man said, "Go forth and multiply." I would like to call that. We don't need all of that. Poke their eyes out, Lunith. Thanks, Lunith. But yeah, so you get, I think, about 250 experience for each of those guys you kill. So since we had 4 of them there, that's, you know, it's decent experience. It's not great. It won't, you know, save you when you need 180,000 of it to level up, but I may be just ventilating from the grinding that I had to do on the other save file in order to get to just level 65, let alone any further than that. So... Alright, well, when there's 3 of them, we'll just barrage. I don't feel like sitting here and waiting for them all to divide and all that. Although they may be able to divide into a 4th enemy on this screen. So, like, normally the screen only has it a maximum of 3 enemies, but there were 4 in that one battle down in the Amur sewers, so... I suppose it could happen. Oh, there's a black belt key. Actually, I wouldn't sell that. It's pretty easy to buy it back in Amur if you didn't already have one, so it's basically redundant armor at this point. But if you didn't have one, we don't have a black belt yet. Monks can equip that, but eventually we will have black belt. And the thing about the black belt class is it has the highest vitality stat of any class in the entire game. It caps out at 99 natural vitality. So, as an example, if I decided, well, you know, Ingus, I'd rather you have as much HP as everybody else, or even in another circumstance, Eric, I want you to have more HP than everybody else because you're the tank, I can switch them off to black belt and have them level up in that class for a little while, and they'll just gain more HP because they have more vitality to work with. So, I actually did that on the other file just a little bit to ensure that I would have as much HP as possible on certain party members, namely to catch Ingus up, exactly like I just said, or to have Eric have more because he's the tank. So, you know, I don't know what that's all about. I see it in the corner of my eye sometimes. Sometimes the it's like the emotes thing, not the emotes part, but the little heart thing in the bottom right corner of the chat. It like, there's a little fluttery thing that pops off of it. I don't know what that's all about, but I do see it every now and then. I don't know if that's because someone's reacting to the content or what. But... well, Unei, that's unfortunate, because now I don't think Ingus is going to get to whack something upside the head with his books, but hey, you know, I'll take it. For what it's worth, Unei won't be around for too long. She'll be hanging out with us until we get the Invincible unearthed, and then once we do that, she'll probably have other places to be. So, have we only been fighting Azraels? Have we fought anything else in here? Oh, we fought Eaters on the previous floor. Never mind. What am I missing? I mean, I don't need to worry about it here, but... yeah, we haven't fought Pyralis or Silenus and Gap yet, because those are the other two potential encounters that you can have here. So... while I wait for them to finish these guys off, let me keep trying to work that kink out of my neck. Not wasting this chance for a stretch break, you know. I already took a drink of water. How's that? It's still there, but... it's getting better. I still don't have my full range of motion, like I said at the beginning of the stream right now, but... it's getting better. I'm able to move my neck a little bit more than I was without being in agonizing toothache-like pain, which is how it was this morning. So I feel like either I slept the wrong way or... no, you know what probably happened? I think I talked about this to Cole at some point earlier today. I think what might have happened is either I slept the wrong way or... okay, here's Silenus and Gap. That's cool. Excuse me. I wonder if Gap summons, because the palette swap of Gap summons stuff in the second to last dungeon, but I don't know. Actually, no, Gap has less HP, so let's have you do that, and then you do that, and then this, and then you do that. Okay. Yeah, I think what happened with the kink is that I dropped a hand towel this morning that I was using to, like, wipe up dishes. I dropped it and almost dropped it on the floor. I caught it with my foot, but I think I went to like jerk to try to catch it in midair. Like, so I jerked forward to try to grab it before it fell. And I think that motion may have been what caused me to just like suddenly have hyper contraction in 4 separate muscle strands in my neck. So, hang on, let me do this. I was wondering why I didn't do that. There we go. I didn't zoom in on the chat, so I was looking at it. I'm like, why is that so small? It's not normally that small. The senility is setting in, apparently. Be funny to see third jobs for everyone, but you understand why you don't. Planning a third job would be a nightmare, especially an Earth Crystal job. The placement of that crystal is, yeah, it's a little difficult when there's only 4 dungeons left to plan in a third job. It basically, I think I mentioned it last time, it feels to me like it slows the game's progress to a crawl when you're just about at the end and you don't want it to slow to a crawl, you know? So that's why I usually don't bother. But, yeah. I mean, if you wanted to, you could. I just don't feel like it. You know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to do this. 'Cause I'm probably not going to get a turn anyway, but... Fun fact, you almost missed it at first. Yeah, it's just kind of hanging out in one of the later dungeons of the game, and you don't have to go in that door. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Like, quite honestly, if it's me and I'm the one making this game, I probably would have placed the crystal, like, in the Cave of the Circle, I think, at the absolute latest. Because, like, giving it to Goldor I don't think would have been a good idea because that's too close to the water crystal. But placing it in the Cave of the Circle gives you some dungeons. Like, at that point, okay, then Doga can, you know, cast the spell to let your Nautilus travel underwater, and then you have a bunch of optional content that you can then tackle with all of the jobs in the whole game. It just, you know, if you feel like some of the jobs are OP, then balance them a little bit according to the fact that you get them earlier. One thing I guess I'm a little surprised about, though, is that there hasn't been, like, modded content for Final Fantasy III, especially the Pixel Remaster, that just, like, okay, well, here's the near the beginning of the game, boom, you have all the jobs available right now. I don't think that exists yet, which surprises me a little bit. I would have figured once the Pixel Remaster came out, that sort of content would have become more prevalent, but maybe it's something that they have for Final Fantasy V, I don't know. But yeah, the whole third job thing, don't worry about that too much, because when we play Final Fantasy V for the stream, I'm planning on having every character have 3 jobs. So it'll be a logical progression. In Final Fantasy I, we had 1 job that promoted. In this game, we have 2 jobs. And then in Final Fantasy V, we'll have 3 jobs. Although in Final Fantasy XII, we'll go back to having 2 jobs, but that's because that's the maximum that you're allowed to have. And technically, they're not really jobs in that game. Well, I guess they are. International Zodiac job system, so... I was going to say, they're more license boards in that game than jobs, but that's kind of just semantics, you know? So. Oh, there's Pyralis. Okay, cool. So that's actually all the enemies in this area. So, cool. And, let's see. Let's do that. And then I forget if he's weak to ice, but I guess we've still got these tomes, so I might as well use them. Why not? That is a very blue book. 3 jobs per person in 5 feels limiting to you. That feels like just enough to me. Like, it doesn't feel like there's too much grind that goes on then. And it feels like you get all of the important stuff in the classes for each person. Probably by about end of World 2, which is right about when I want to have my full kit, basically. So, maybe I'm actually... Let me think about that. Maybe that's a little too soon. I don't know. Currently maxing out every job in 5 Advanced. Definitely use that mover trick. Use that quick save button. Let's go mover grinding! There's no odd dang it going on in there because you know exactly when the movers show up. Quick save, quick load, 2 battles, mover. Quick save, quick load. Repeat ad nauseum. You know what we're not repeating, though, is the type of airship we have, because we just found the Invincible. And apparently it's already fully stocked. So yeah, this place is a mobile fortress. Quite literally, it has every amenity that a town would have, all in the airship. Which would be really nice if, you know, there was just a gigantic host of optional content that all of a sudden this unlocked and there were no towns anywhere near them, because then it's like, I don't need a town, I've got an inn and shops and everything. But there is some optional content. I don't want to sell it short, but there isn't as much as I would like there to be. So, but yeah, stand under it. You can press the X button and you can jump back on board. Use the stairs to go out. Use the wheel to commandeer the airship and fly it around. If you run into a small mountain, she says it's a hill, but it's a small mountain, just like half the size of the other mountains. You'll get an exclamation point marker, and you can actually rev the engines and jump over it, basically, with the airship. And then if you press the circle button, you can go back inside of the airship itself, and, you know, take a break, take a rest, get off the airship if you want to, or use the amenities that are available on board, including shops, magic, weapons, armor, and items, all available right here on the shop. Or on the ship. They even restock their items as you buy things, so... Oh, and you can summon the Fat Chocobo, but, no, please don't do that. Well, at least his theme music isn't playing. But yeah, you can summon him in the corner there, but every time you leave the airship, he will unsummon, so you'll have to summon him again. And they have a free inn for you right in the middle of the ship. This place is awesome. There needs to be more airships in video games that are as good as this one. But I can see why they don't always, you know, so. Oh, okay, I guess Unei's gotta go. Sure, we can handle it. Yep, we'll make sure we do that. Oh, okay. So what we're going to have to do is we have to use the Invincible to go to the Cave of Shadows and recover the Fang of Earth. And then after we're done with that, we have to come back to Saronia, grab the Nautilus, and then go back to Doga's Manor, because apparently Unei and Doga have a gift for us. So that's cool. Sounds like a plan. See ya. So there goes Unei. And that's actually the last guest party member in the entire game, so from now on it'll just be us four. But that's fine. It lets me control the actual job actions that I take, so I don't have to worry about somebody accidentally just being like, well, just gonna kill this now. It's like, okay, I was trying to line that up for one of my characters, but go off, I guess. Excuse me. It's not even the ungodly amount of ABP you get per win, it's the 150k gil per win. You left the final area, got 87 elixirs and came back, and 80 tents, but whatever. Yeah, that's true too. The amount of money that you get from those movers is really insane, honestly. So here's the level 7 magic if you wanted to buy it here. This is where you would get it other than in Doga's village. But if you didn't get it here, you could always buy it in Doga's village instead. So I think I'm going to get rid of these potions. I don't think I need them anymore. We have enough MP to cast Cure, so we'll just throw those in the bin. Let's see. Anything else I don't need? Yeah, all the black belt stuff, and again, don't need the Geomancer stuff. Sorry, Geomancer, you'll get your chance later. The Fairy Claws are interesting. They give +1 intellect and mind to your monk, but that doesn't really help them very much at all, so I guess they're strong, but eventually you want to be using just bare hands anyway with your monk, and by this point in the game, claws probably don't do nearly enough damage to warrant using them. That being said, if you're going to upgrade Monk to Black Belt later, it's probably worth it to keep 2 claws, because then you can stick them in their hands when they're at a low job level, and you can, you know, take them away and actually use something else later when they're at a higher job level. So, don't need that. I must have gotten an extra one of those from somewhere. Still need that for Thief, just in case, although I don't know how much more thieving I'm going to do. Maybe just a little bit to get some more Heavenly Wraths, because I got a bunch of Arctic Winds last time, so we should have enough Arctic Winds and Bomb Arms to get us through the rest of the game, but we might need a few more Heavenly Wraths just so we have them. And the Turtle Shells, I'm actually going, after all of the things I just said, on the Super Boss file, I actually already stole a whole bunch of them to use for the Super Boss, and so I'm not going to steal any for this playthrough, because the 3 that we get from chests and dungeons should be enough to get us through the entire game. We'll see. You were using Gil Toss liberally too. Yeah, at that point you really can, quite honestly. It's just like, you've got all of that leeway to use Gil Toss, you know, because you've got so much Gil that you're just getting that it doesn't matter that you're throwing a whole bunch of it. So you won't throw more than you're getting back, you know. So anyway, the reason why I didn't go arrow shopping is because there's a ton of arrows available on the Invincible in this version of the game. I don't know if these are available in the NES version or the Pixel Remaster for that matter, but they are available in this version, so they're probably trying to tell you something about, you know, a certain class that might be better than you think. Anyway, let's buy some sleep arrows. We'll buy all of these arrows, honestly. They're kind of, I mean, by comparison to other consumables that you can throw or shoot in this game, these are cheap, so you might as well take advantage of that while you can, because shurikens will not be this cheap. Not that I'm going to use shurikens, because we're not going to use ninja. I'm going to hit myself against that brick wall until it falls over. And that brick wall is a super boss, but we'll talk about that later. You can also buy Dark Knife, Rune Axe, and Dragon Lance here, so if you didn't get Gungnir, I mean, these Dragon Lances are really, really powerful anyway, and you can always wield 2 of these or 1 in a Blood Lance, and that's pretty strong, so your Dragoon will probably be good for the rest of the game with this. Anybody who wants to use the Rune Axe, so Warriors or Vikings, although I've already got a Triton Hammer for Viking, but that's Lightning Elemental, so if you want those, you can use those. As for me, I actually need to unequip the iron arrows because we won't need them anymore. We've got better arrows now. We have arrows that inflict status effects now. I don't think I'll need these fire or ice arrows either, so I'll probably get rid of the iron, holy, fire, and ice arrows, and just keep the light arrows for now because there's an optional dungeon that we're actually going to go to in a little bit where those will come in handy. The Medusa arrows inflict gradual petrify, 1 per shot, so like a volley of shots will inflict 1 out of the 3. You can inflict sleep, you can inflict poison. The magic arrows just hit pretty hard. They're the hardest hitting arrows we have access to for right now, although that will change pretty shortly anyway. But we'll equip the Medusa arrows, why not? That's what happened to you in Etrian Odyssey Untold 2 years ago. I missed what that was. Hang on, I'll wait. Almost completely figured out the super boss with the story team in their original classes. See, and that's always a good feeling, because it's like, oh, I'm probably not supposed to do this way, but I'm definitely doing it. So, alright, let's get rid of these. There is like 1 enemy going forward that's weak to fire, but we won't need them because we already deal enough damage. And there's, I think, again, 1 enemy coming up weak to ice, but we won't need that. There's still enemies that are weak to lightning, though, so might as well keep those and then just get rid of these, and then there we go. And I think that's everything, yeah, because we just bought all those arrows, so. Cool. Armor Shop has mostly similar stuff to what was in the Ancient Ruins. The only difference is the Gaia Vest, which you would have already had access to if you went to Duster, so I don't know why they stuck that here, but it's here too, I guess. And if you don't have the Gasal Greens to summon the Fat Chocobo, you can always just buy them from the shop here. You can buy Otter Shrooms here as well, but nothing particularly new or fancy here. Although there are regular potions to buy if you really need those for some reason. I don't know why, but hey, you never know. Maybe you just want to waste a job action with Scholar or something, although it doesn't have increased priority with Scholar. That would be really interesting, though, if Scholars had increased item priority. Like, if they used the item command, it had a +1, like Guard or like Sing or Provoke. It'd probably make them even more busted than they already are, though, so maybe it's best that they don't do that. I don't know what I'd prefer, double item potency or increased priority on items. I feel like both would be really good, but, like, together they'd be way too good, but... Anyway, you also have, I've named them Hurdy and Gertie here, but that's probably not their actual names. They're probably just random Moogles. But this Moogle does Mognet stuff, and there are some new messages that we can take a look at now. Specifically, we want to get messages from Taka and Sid. And we also can get messages from the 4 old men and Alice now, so that's cool. Let's take a look at what we got. When you were babies. You 4 sure were a handful when you were toddlers. Y'all turned out okay in the end, or at the very least, you're all toilet trained. From Sid. Okay, I don't know anyone who sends letters like Sid does, but sure, why not? The 4 old men have sent us a thing that says, long time no see. Salutations, warriors! How are you, little squirts? We wanted to thank you again for helping us in the sewers, and we owe you one. Let us know if you need our help. From the 4 old men. Fair enough. And they have another letter. What makes a hero? Heroes and champions like us must stay in top shape. Eating and sleeping well are paramount. Now drop what you're doing and go outside and exercise. From the 4 old men. I mean, okay, if you insist. These 4 old men don't know. I can't go outside. I'm playing nut. Do you know you can play nut outside? What? I literally jumped up out of my seat there to commit to the bit, but fair enough. Anyway, Prince Alice actually will only send us letters if Eric is the lead party member, so let's grab the message from him, and then we'll grab the last message from Taka, which will be useful to us as well. So, hello, Eric. Eric, how are you? Saronia is a big city, and big cities have very big problems. I'm doing my best, and I think I'm finally getting the hang of this. I hope your journey is going smoother than my role. From Alice. He has as many confidence issues as Eric does. It's not a wonder they get along. What do you mean other people's letters? Like, isn't that the whole purpose of this service? That we get letters from other people? There is a fun system in the Untold games known as Grimoire Stones. They can be generated holding player and enemy, some enemy skills. And in Untold 2, the skill level of the Grimoire Stone skill is added to your own skill level if you have the skill, so you can have level 20 skills instead of level 10. It's amazing for damage. Imagine a skill that hits so hard that it has a multi-turn cooldown, and you have it at level 20 instead of level 10. I could see that being pretty powerful. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, and so this message from Taka is actually the first message, or rather the last message that you need in order to repair Princess Sarah's pendant, the legendary smith. So let's take a look. I don't know if I've told you, but there's supposed to be this legendary smith wandering the world. Rumor has it that she fixes things so well they look brand new. From Taka. So once you have that, you can now go pick up the pendant from... oh, he has another message, Orichalcum. You can now go pick up the pendant from Princess Sarah, talk to Taka, and then go have it repaired, because this will spawn the legendary smith in the world itself. So Taka also has another message, Orichalcum. Have I ever told you about Orichalcum, the legendary metal? Rumor says that there's nothing an Orichalcum weapon can't cut. From Taka. So there's that, and now I think that means that Sid will have a new message about Orichalcum, but no, that's after the next dungeon, never mind. I'm looking at my notes here. But basically, Sid's going to have a message that continues the Orichalcum side quest shortly, just not yet. The other Moogle that's here, who I have, again, affectionately named Gertie, with this one being Hurdy, is just like the old man in Gasal. You can look at all of the records here, so you don't have to go back to Gasal to look at everything and make sure you've got everything. So we got 2/3 of the bestiary at the moment, and then here's the achievements. We've got nice % of chests opened, and I believe that's all of them up to this point, but the main thing that you'll want to take your eyes towards is the max damage counter there, because as you can plainly see, that is more damage than 9,999. That's the maximum amount we've inflicted on any enemy that we've seen. The max number of hits will always stay at 32 there. I don't think it ever goes above that number, even if it is above that number. But yeah, the max damage will go higher than that. But that's the maximum we've inflicted on any one enemy we've fought so far. That's going to change very shortly because we have amazingly powerful new arrows, and we're about to get a much more powerful new bow very soon as well. Actually, I'm going to equip the light arrows because we'll be using those in a second. So, all right. Anyway, let's get this big tub floating, shall we? Unfortunately, she can't dive underwater. She's just a little too heavy and doesn't have, like, you know, underwater capability. But the Invincible is a very, very powerful airship and much larger. Unfortunately, it's also as slow as the Enterprise, so we can't fly it as quickly as the Nautilus. But still pretty good. And as Unei mentioned, it can hover over small mountains. So we're actually going to use that in order to get to the Cave of Shadows, which I can show you on the map if I get Ingus to show me the world map there. So, Ingus, world map, please. So, Amur is that in the southeast corner of the map. Goldor Manor is the southeasternmost icon that we can see on the map there. But if you go north of the Goldor Manor, you've got Amur on that same continent. The water temple and it's not the water temple, it's, you know what I mean, but the Cave of Tides is right there. And then north of the Cave of Tides is another cave, and that's the Cave of Shadows. So that's our next destination. But before we go there, there's actually a few more places that we need to go because a few more side quests have unlocked as a result of us getting the Invincible. So let's go and work on those, shall we? Hey Gorix, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. You do go through so many airships in this game. You even blow up a few, and they don't even punish you for it. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know what the thought process was there, but okay, fair enough. Just destroy these gigantic, you know, revolutionary pieces of technology. Why not? But welcome. We, as you can see, just got access to the Invincible, and we're going to use it to go do some side quests now. First order of business, I think, is let's stop off and pick up Princess Sarah's pendant. We'll take it over to Taka, see if he can do anything about it, and if he can't, well, then we'll go to the place where there is a person who can. But yeah, so you press the circle button, it'll take you back inside the airship here. Let me go top off, actually, since I just used sight. And then if you go down the stairs right behind the wheel, you can leave the ship. I feel like I'm back in the Talon when I'm in this place. It's probably why I feel so nostalgic about this. I'm like, oh, you know, this feels nice. I wonder where I get this feeling from. It could just be from playing this game as a teenager, but It could also be from Final Fantasy Legend 3. And I'm willing to bet it's probably the latter, quite honestly. Alright, but we've made the princess wait for us long enough to go pick this pendant up, so let's go pick it up now. And then we'll take care of that. We aren't going to return it to her right away, even though when we leave here, we will be going to get it repaired. Not when we leave Castle Sasane. When we leave the floating continent, we'll go get it repaired right away. But we'll go to the Cave of Shadows first before we come back here to give it back to her. Excuse me. Might as well not make the extra trip because the Invincible is a slow airship, so we might as well just take care of stuff down there and then come back, because we're going to need to come back here anyway later when Sid sends us another letter, so... maybe. I'll go see if I can find somebody to do it. Why do the camera angles look weird in here? Like, it looks like the walls are warping for some reason. Is that just me, or maybe it's the 2D items that are in the background? I don't know. Anyway, there's Sarah's pendant, so we can use that to work on this quest. So this side quest is, let me think about this. This one's not needed to spawn the super boss, I don't think. But this will spawn the legendary smith into the world, which it has a function outside of just this quest as well. Although all of that stuff seems to converge later on once you gain access to the final dungeon in terms of when it unlocks, so... Now, the main thing to remember is that you do happen to know a smith. You don't have to go looking for the legendary smith just yet. You know one, and so let's drive the 60 feet over to Kazus so we can talk to Taka, and then we can go from there. But as you can see, the Invincible cannot cross these mountains here. It can cross smaller ones, but not those ones. Those are too big. We'll see what the smaller mountains that it can cross look like in just a minute, though. So. But first, let's go see if Taka can handle this pendant. Would be a nice quick quest if he could, but as you've probably heard from me hinting about it, he can't. Well, actually, my fingers are not dexterous enough to repair this pendant. At the rate I'm going, Refi is going to end up being a goldsmith from how deft her fingers will be from playing the harp every single battle, but... Well, it's probably a family heirloom, so it's probably made of something crazy. Maybe orichalcum? But yeah, Taka can't do anything about this one just yet. So, or rather, not just yet, at all. So because of that, we have to go find a different smith, although we did already receive a letter from Taka talking about the legendary smith, so that means we just need to go look for them. They'll be in one of the towns that we've been to already, and I actually know where they are directly, so... But if you don't know, well, either A, this is another opportunity for them to sell you a strategy guide, I guess, or B, just take a look in towns that you've already been and look thoroughly, because they'll be out on the world map itself. So. Anyway, there's the lake that I was looking for. Let's see if we can find the mountains. Here's the river. Here we go. So these small mountains that you can see to the north of us, well, northwest now, if you run up against them with the Invincible, you can actually press the X button and hover directly over top of them. So now we can actually leave the airship and go explore that shadow that's in the lake there. So that's our first order of business. Nice they added extra side stuff with the supporting cast. If you had one complaint about the NES and Pixel Remaster, it's that everyone is pretty much irrelevant after meeting them besides the two wizards. Yeah, and honestly, I would agree with that, and that's kind of why I wanted to do the Mognet quests, because it just, the game feels a little more empty without doing them. Like you said, it feels like everybody sort of just doesn't have any relevance. It's like you meet them and then you're gone, and then you meet them and then you're gone. So it's better this way, I think. So that's why I'm trying to make sure I get all that stuff in, especially since in the DS version, when I played the DS version as a teenager, I had a much more difficult time doing those quests because we just didn't have enough people to do wireless communication with. I think you needed like 28 separate people that you needed to mail letters to, or something like that. And for hovering over that Shadow in the lake, you end up in a subterranean cave called Lake Door. Don't know how exactly we got here. I would imagine we were basically swallowed by the boss that's in here, but that's not quite true, because if that was the case, well, he would have spit us out already. Either way, there's a bunch of treasure to find in here, so let's take a look. Make sure if you're going for 100% treasure rating, you look in this cave very thoroughly, because once you defeat the boss of this area and you leave, you can never come back, because the boss is dead, so that shadow that's in the lake is gone. So just make sure you're very thorough with your searching. There's another heavenly raft. That's not a hint as to what the boss is weak to at all. But here's those Ouroboros that we fought in the catacombs, so I guess we can just do that. That's there, and then... oh, there's 3 of them, so let's just... oh, I didn't re-equip the Tome of Light. That's okay. Can always do that in a minute. So we can use the light machine gun. There we go. Not bad. And the enemies in here give pretty good experience, but as I said, it's a temporary area, so... gather the EXP if you want while you're here, but you won't have access to this place forever, so take advantage of it now, but you won't be able to come back as long as you beat the boss. I guess you could just leave the boss alive and keep coming back to this place if you wanted, but either way. There's another Arctic Wind for our collection. Earthen Drums will cast Quake, but I don't know, I don't think it's got any elemental affinity on it in this game, so I don't usually use it. It'd probably be pretty good for AoE, I guess, for Scholar. I guess I could use it now, honestly, if I wanted to, just to see what it does. If Angus gets his turn before Luneth does. Yeah, why not? Let's give it a shot. There's a total of 3 new enemies in here that we haven't seen before, so it's probably worth your time to try to find all 3 of them, since this place is, once you leave, it's gone forever. What are they? Let me go look. I've got my source here. Plankty, Sea Lion, and these guys, Remora. So there's, like I said, and the Ouroboros, but you can see those in the Monster in a Box and Cerrone Catacombs if you haven't seen them already, so... yeah, try to find those guys if you are here, because that'll allow you 5,700 experience. That's not bad. That'll allow you to have a complete bestiary. Let's see. I think the way forward is to the bottom right of this. So, well, there's one of them. Plankty. Okay, and we had the other one already. So, only one more to go. I think Sea Lions are the only ones left. I don't know if I'll be able to KO with Ingus's books here. Ingus. Anyway. I don't know if I'll be able to KO with his books, but it's probably because I'm in the back row. I could have Eric contribute with the Triton Hammer, but... yeah. No, okay, never mind. Angus just KOs with haste. I'll take it. I wasn't worried about Luneth. We already knew he was going to KO. It wasn't even a question. So... God, Ranger's so powerful. We got a White Musk from the treasure chest there. That casts Holy when you use it. Here's the 3rd Aegis Shield. So now you've got all that. A Platinum Hammer. Has less vitality bonus than the other one, but here's another Bacchus' Cider. If you haven't been using any of your Bacchus' Cider, that's good, because don't get rid of them. I'm thinking that I might actually need a Bacchus' Cider in order to beat the super boss on the test file that I'm doing with it right now, and I sold all of mine, so... There is a way to get more of them, though. There's a few enemies. The Adamantoise in the Molten Cave has a 5% chance to drop it, and all of the enemies that you can encounter on the 3rd floor only of the Subterranean Cave, which is where we fought Gutsko for the first time, they have a 2% chance of dropping it. So not a good chance, but at least there is a way for me to get it without, you know, I got everything up there, didn't I? Without not having access to it. The trouble with the super boss... oh, there's the Sea Lions. Okay, good. We've got all 3 of the enemies, so we haven't missed anything now. The trouble with the super boss that I'm having is basically that I have to have Eric, Refia, and Angus doing, like, one specific thing every turn, and they cannot stop doing that one specific thing every turn, or we will all die. So, because of that, the only person who can do anything who has a little bit of agency is Luneth, because his main job is DPSing in the super boss. And he can stop DPSing in order to actually, you know, do that, but he can't cast haste on himself because he doesn't have access to haste. It's like level 6 white magic or something like that, so because he doesn't have access to haste, I need something that can cast haste from his inventory, which means I need a Bacchus Cider. So that's the gist of it. And that's what I'm working on right now off-screen, is trying to get a Bacchus Cider. On top of taking exactly one attempt at the super boss earlier today, I also tried to get that for like 20 minutes and didn't get it, so... You know, I don't know why I guarded just now. I guess to get Ingus more actions, but I was going to say I'm going to get whacked by something anyway, so... I guess that doesn't matter, because I can just sing the Dream Harp again, and now I'm at full HP. I love the increased priority that bards have. It's so nice. In the end game, that'll heal for like, maybe not 500 HP, but it'll heal for quite a bit of HP, considering like, it's a little more than Cure, but a little less than Cura, which is a lot for a free action. I'll take it. Alright, looks like I got everything, so... Let's just head on down. You know what, Eric? I'm going to have you contribute. I don't know if this is going to work out, but let's see if the two of you can work together to take down that sea lion. I mean, I could with just a Heavenly Wrath, but trying not to use those. Yet, anyway. Alright, Lunith, can you just pass a little of that damage over to your teammates? Because they could use the help. You don't need that, all that. Oh boy. Well, that probably bumped up our max damage somewhere. Alright, and I think this is the last... No, this isn't the last area. This is the second to last area. So, let's go exploring around, see what we can find. There's a few treasures left to find, so... I don't remember if there's anything particularly good, but... Excuse me, I guess there's only one way to find out. And you know, quite honestly, I could probably have Ingus casting Thundara here, and he'd do pretty good with that too, but... he doesn't need it. He deals enough damage from the back row with his books. See? Plenty. You would think that those guys would actually have a little bit more defense than the Sea Lions, considering they've got hard outer carapaces, but, like, apparently not. Apparently you whack them upside the head with a blunt object too hard and it just rattles them inside their shells. So much so that they're gone. Another Platinum Hammer, another Reflect Mail. I guess if you had, like, a bunch of Freelancers, those Reflect Mails would be pretty great for them, but for most other classes it's probably better to wear Diamond equipment instead. Although if you have, you know, 3 classes that can wear heavy armor, it's probably worth it to equip one of those with a Reflect Mail. Because you're either going to have to buy diamond armor or you're not going to have access to it, depending on whether you've gotten the Invincible yet. Although if you don't have the Invincible and you're here, I don't know how you did it, I guess. You were very disappointed that Octopath 1's Scholar doesn't get dual-wield books. That seems silly, like they're bookworms. Of course they dual-wield books. I don't know. Maybe it's like Final Fantasy XII, where you just... the offhand is exclusively for shields. I don't know. I should have had Eric helping. Whoops. It's okay, I could just pay on now and let them do this. Do that. And actually, probably Lunith is going to go before everybody else, but that's fine. Yep. It's okay, he's the one that needs to get... Well, everybody needs to get to job level 99, but he's the closest right now, so... Won't be much longer. Since I have the, I think I mentioned this last time, but since I have the practice file for the super boss already off-screen, I'm not going to bother with maxing out the other jobs that everybody has, because I already maxed out, well, I maxed out Warrior for Lunith, Thief for Eric, Black Mage for Refia, and White Mage for Ingus off-screen for the other file for the super boss. But for this file, I'll definitely be maxing all of these jobs. I just need a little time to do it, and since I'd streamed yesterday as well as today, I didn't really have much time to do it. But that's okay, because we'll get a bunch of job levels today anyway, so I'm not really super concerned, you know. This is the last area. Once you see the bridges, you'll know you're right around the end of the area, so... Oh, and we got a Raven's Yawn from one of those treasure chests back there. That casts Eroga when you use it as an item. It will be important for something in just a few minutes, so just keep that in mind before we move forward. You know, it's funny, Ruffia, you had the most HP just a few minutes ago, and now all of a sudden the tables have turned again and Lilith is back on top. It's surprising. I wouldn't have expected that. I think let's just go with the Loki Harp. Everything else looks good to me. Okay. Let's see what's waiting for us at the end of the cave, shall we? Apparently we shall not, because these Remoras want to zap me. Or something. I don't know what they do in this game. I know they paralyze in Final Fantasy V, but that's as a summon, so... I don't think I got to use those earthen drums. Oh well. Knowing my luck, Quake probably hurts you as well as the enemy, so I should probably just sell it. I'd have to look that one up. I've literally never used Quake in this game, so I couldn't tell you. I wonder if Ranger is this OP in Pixel Remaster. Like, I wonder if they carried over arm strength from this version of the game to the Pixel Remaster. I don't think it's worth me getting the Pixel Remaster to find out, but it is something I'd be curious about finding out, so... Oh, hey there! I think I know you. I know you from somewhere else, but this is the first time in the series, well, actually, that we're seeing you as what you will be in a moment, a summon. But you were in 2 as well. We just never saw you. We just saw the inside of your guts. So let's see what you're like on the outside. Alright, let's go. Let's see what you've got, Leviathan. He's got not much. I have light arrows and haste and provoke and a heavenly wrath in my back pocket. I think he's got like 35,000 HP. That's probably a little bit of an overestimation, actually. But, well, it's not going to take very long to cull through that. Let's go see. Hang on. Leviathan, 32,000 HP. That's what he's got. If provoke hits, it did not. I was going to say this will probably be over in 1 turn, but it'll probably be 2 now because it missed. That's okay, though. Well, he hit the tank anyway, so that's good. Isn't using Tidal Wave either, so that's also good. How much will this Heavenly Wrath do? He's weak to lightning, by the way. Oh, it'll just do the rest. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, 32,000 HP. As you saw there, the maximum amount of damage we could see is 9,999, but we did 32,000 HP damage from those 2 attacks, so... Yeah, there you go. That's supposed to be a boss fight. Wah, wah. Well, yeah, you don't have to tell me that. I knew that already. Remember in Pixel Remaster, Ranger gets Barrage, and it is quite good. Yeah, I can imagine. If they left Barrage in for the Pixel Remaster, I would imagine it would be pretty powerful, so... He is, in fact, dead, Jim. Yes. Yes, I am well aware. Gone. Gone like the wind, that one. Let's see... Probably magic arrows would be best for the next area we're going to. I want to maximize the damage output that I'm doing because, well, we have another boss to confront, one that's similar to Leviathan, but, yeah, we got the Leviath spell just now, so just stick that in there. That's the level 7 summon. Again, I'm just giving these to Eric just to stick them in somebody's inventory because, you know, might as well do that. They're giving them to me for free, so why not? Oh, I need to teleport out of here. So just, again, make sure you've found Remora, Sea Lion, and Plankty before you leave here. You can find Ouroboros elsewhere, and obviously we just defeated Leviathan, so you don't have to worry about that at all. Phone. Show me the money. I need to see the bestiary. Yeah, that's it. So, just those 5 in here. So make sure you've gotten all of them, and on top of that, make sure you've also grabbed all the treasure chests before you leave, because once you Otter Shroom or teleport out of here, or walk, this happens. Yeah, so the shadow's gone, and no matter where you canoe around in the lake, you won't be able to go back inside of Lake Door, so those guys are missable. Make sure you grab them, and the treasures. if you've done everything up to this point the way I have, your treasure rating should look like... Hold on. Let me go look at my records. Well, we have nice bestiary, although I think we missed a few monsters there, so we should be at about 70%, I think. Yeah, because we're missing Chimera and Dread Knight. That's what's there. I remember because that was one I missed in the other file, too. But that's it. All we're missing is Chimera and Dread Knight for right now. So we should be at about 70% on bestiary and 74% on treasure chests, so... Oh wow, we didn't inflict more than 23,520 damage just now with the rapid fire. This party is dumb and a joy to watch. Well, I'm glad it's giving you joy because it is really silly to play as well. So, let's see. We got a full heal from getting beating Leviathan. Yeah. So all I need to do now is just sell those light arrows because I'm not going to need them anymore. So just get rid of them, and I guess I'll get rid of a few of these as well. Don't need all of those. Definitely don't need these magic keys anymore, right? The next place we're going is a cave. The place we're going after that is a cave. The place we're going after that is a cave. And the place we're going after that, we won't need keys in there at all. So, yeah, we can get rid of these now. Don't need them. Let's see, get rid of this. I was gonna say, we should have 2 turtle shells now. I would keep the light musks because, or the white musks, because they may actually come in handy for certain fights later if there's enemies that are weak to holy, but yeah, they're kind of just another throwable. They start giving you a lot of attack items late in the game, like here, so you'll start getting Chocobo's Wraths as well pretty soon. I think our first one's coming up in the next dungeon, so, but we'll start getting quite a few of them. These are worth good money. Might as well sell those. This casts Warp on the enemies, but I don't need that. This casts Death. I think Death, because it's a level 8 black magic spell that we don't have access to right now, so it would cast Death, I would imagine. I was trying to think of it as, like, named something else, but I'm not going to use that either. This casts Drain. That can actually be pretty useful if you're low-ish on HP, so I'll hold on to that. And again, the Raven's Jaw will come in handy almost immediately, so I'm going to hold on to that too. I think the one time you really struggled with your Pixel Remaster Ranger is at the last dungeon. Echidna just kept wasting your ass. Yeah, I can imagine. In the end game, the trouble with Ranger is that its defenses are really thin, so you almost kind of want to have a Viking at that point because then it can draw the physical attacks away from everybody else. In this version of the game, at the very least, I don't know if this is true in the Pixel Remaster, the Protect Ring protects you from most other magic because it reduces elemental damage by 50%, so that can help a little bit with survivability. If it doesn't do that in the Pixel Remaster, I can see how you'd keep getting wasted by some of the endgame bosses. But yeah, it's really nice in this version. It doesn't tell you that that's the case, but it's definitely the case. So yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway, the last place we need to go for side quest wise is actually over by where Tozus is, the gnome village. If you go over here, there's another mountain range that you can actually fly over, and there's a new cave for us to go explore. So, let's, let me see, we should be fully healed, yeah, because we got fully healed from the, whatchamacallit. You haven't gotten a better shield for this yet, have you? No, I mean, I guess I can equip the diamond shield, or another Aegis shield, but... Now, you know what, why not? 2 Aegis shields. We've got 3 of them, might as well equip the other 2. Why not? Oh, good lord, Backlog Buster's doing a Final Fantasy V run where you start with every job. That sounds like a bunch of catharsis, so good for him, because he could probably use the catharsis after doing solo runs with every other job. Oh boy, that's hilarious. He gets to play the game normally at the very end of the whole thing. What a character arc. Ominous. Bahamut's lair, huh? Okay, well, let's go see this Bahamut. I can't imagine he's a Sky Fortress in this game. I have a Sky Fortress, so he's got to be something else. There's another Heavenly Wrath for you. Another Earth and Drums. And I think I mentioned it last time, but once we get Thief to job level 99, we'll be able to steal Heavenly Wraths from Black Flans over by Amur. So don't worry about it if you don't have a ton of those just yet. You can go get some more. So I'll probably be doing that off-screen between this episode and the next one, because we have, what, like 7 right now. Yeah, and I don't think we get any more from chests, so I'll probably try to get up to like 15 of each, although the Arctic winds might be a little tricky. I guess I could just get those. Well, I have 12 right now, so I only need 3. I can just grab those from the sunken cave, and then, I don't know. Just once we get Thief to job level 99, I can go ahead and grab the Heavenly Rats from the Black Lands until we have 15. And 15 should be plenty to get us through the rest of the game, especially with all the other attack items they're throwing at us now, so. I was going to say, case in point, well, there's another Arctic wind, so I guess that's one less I need to get. You caught that reference. Good, I'm glad. Because it would have been a bit of a waste if it was not caught. So, glad somebody caught it. Excuse me. So probably then, the gist of what I'm going to do off-screen between this episode and the next one is I'm going to get everybody to, like, in their current jobs to job level 99, and I'll also get Eric to job level 99 on Thief, because I actually am still going to use Thief for something later on, in the next episode, as a matter of fact, because I need to steal a couple of things that I can only steal at job level 99. Unfortunately, it's from an enemy that's a little bit hard to find, but that's okay. Anyway, Bahamut's Lair is a really good area to grind near the end game because there's a lot of 3 enemy formations in here, and they all give 1900 experience if all 4 of your party members are up, so that's 5700 experience per battle, especially in this zone. I think all of the enemy formations in this zone are exclusively 3 enemies at a time, so that's every battle's 5700 experience, which is pretty good. You have to actively go out and find the enemies, though, so I'm not as big a fan of this area as I am of a different one for the purpose of grinding, but hey, it's there if you want it to be. I can actually equip the Tome of Ice now that I think about it. That one enemy that's weak to ice is in this area, although I'm not sure if they're on this screen. Oh well. They're around here somewhere. Light machine gun! Sorry, I know I keep making that reference, but might as well. It's just goofy enough, you know. If you're wondering where the heavy machine gun is, I think I already mentioned the heavy machine gun once, but we don't have it just yet. We will. There's another Bacchus Cider. So I guess, again, if you didn't have one before, here's a couple of them. You can get one in Lake Door and one here. Don't get rid of them. Save yourself the trouble. I say that like it's probably not going to drop in like half an hour or less from me just wandering around on the other file. I shouldn't jinx myself like that, but quite honestly, it's only a matter of time. And the enemies are really easy to kill because auto battle can just kill all of them without even using ammunition, so. Yeah, as you can see, we're going to gain a few levels while we're in here. Just getting quite a bit of experience as a result of all of this. So. There's the Chocobo's Raft that I was mentioning before. Another turtle shell. I think that should be 3 now, which is as many as I want to have. Although I may just, since I'm getting some Arctic winds anyway, I may grab a few more just for the hell of it. Then we'll have a safety net in case we need them for something. The unfortunate thing about Bahamut's Lair is it's only 3 areas, and this is the 3rd area, but definitely walk to the left when you go here to pick this up, because here's our heavy machine gun, the Eurytus bow. Eurytus? Eurytos? I don't know. I'm going to say Eurytus bow, which, you know, is pretty good, but considering the fact that it almost, like, it increased our damage output by, like, 33% compared to what we were doing before. Like, look at the damage increase there. That's nuts. And that's going to be very helpful because, as it turns out, the next boss we're going to be fighting is flying, so you know how this is going to go. You already know how this is going to go. I don't even have to tell you how the next boss is going to go. They're also weak to wind, for what it's worth. So, you know, you could just use that. Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds a little bit like Uranus bow, but I guess you could say Eurectum bow as well. Apologies in advance. Now, fair enough. I don't mind saying Eurectum online. I'm sure it can be taken out of context, but how many people actually watch these streams to where they would be willing to clip that and take it out of context? I don't know. Let's find out, right? Make sure that you're fully healed before you cross this bridge all the way, though, because once you cross to the end here... That guy sounds familiar! I feel like I've heard that roar before. Let's find out if we're strong enough for round 2. Alright, where you at, big guy? You tried to make me worm food before for your babies. Not this time. So yeah, there he is. The dragon that we fought way back at the Dragon's Nest, Bahamut. And, well, he's flying, so, again, you already know how this is going to go. If Provoke hits, I got bad news for you, Bahamut. Quite honestly, it'll probably only be 2 turns no matter what we do, but let's use that Raven's Yawn because, as I said, it casts Aeroga, and he's weak to wind, so might as well use it. Alright, Eric, if there was ever a time to hit your Provoke, now is it. Okay, we hit it. Goodbye! Okay, didn't quite KO him, but that's okay. The Raven's Yawn probably will, right? Yes, it will. Oh, Bahamut, how the mighty have fallen. How much damage you dealt in Final Fantasy XIV when I blasted the field with you. This is all you can muster in your first, well, second major appearance in the series, this time as a summon? I'm disappointed. This party's goofy. It's so goofy. But yeah, there it is, the final summoning spell, Bahamut. Again, don't know what that's all about, but it summons Bahamut, so... If you're using an evoker, or even using a summoner if you get the Earth Crystal, which we'll get pretty soon, that's the best magic they can cast. It's also at level 8, so they're going to have the least amount of MP there, but that's okay. It blasts the field for very large amounts of damage. It's not quite equivalent to a barrage, but, I mean, what is, right? So... Stop, he's already dead! Yes, he is, and now he's in my back pocket. I can give all of the summons to a person who will never summon them, so they can rest easy. And since we're done using the magic arrows, let me, yeah, you know what? I don't even want to switch. We've got so much money, and it's not like I'm going to use money for anything else for the rest of the game, so I might as well use it to buy more arrows. And I'll use this skill to buy 3 more wishes! I'm just gonna skip through these battles. I guess I could... Well, no, actually I can't teleport out. You know why? Is because Bahamut pulled me out onto the world map when we fought him. So I have to walk back through his lair. If it wasn't for the fact that it was 3 areas only, that might be intimidating, but it's not. This party is so goofy. I love it. It's like, I could not use a traditional party in this game. I had to use something really silly, because, like... You know, I mean, White Mage Devout, that's pretty meta, everybody uses it. I'm going to be using a White Mage against the Super Boss, because even I can't maim through that fight. You know, Summoner is pretty meta. We'll see a bunch of Summoners over the course of the rest of the series, so I'm not really worried about that. Even though that job is one of my favorites in this game, I really like their designs. I mean, Viking and Bard are pretty meta, but, like, Viking is the tank, like the premier tank of this game, even better than Knight, just because Knight has the defend command, but it doesn't have provoke, so it can't draw attacks to itself, like Viking can. Bard is pretty meta for most people for the super boss anyway, but I don't think that most people use Bard for, like, outside of fighting the super boss, you know. And Bard's pretty damn powerful in this game. This is probably the strongest Bard is in any Final Fantasy outside of 14, quite honestly. So, it's even stronger than Bard in 5, and Bard in 5 is surprisingly pretty useful, actually. It's better than I would have expected. I've tried using it for a little bit more, like, to a little bit better effect recently, and I've done some pretty good work with it. We'll see that when we play 5 for the stream, although that's going to be quite a while, so... Yeah, it's not 5 Knight against Garula during speedruns. Yeah, 5 Knight against Garula is really good. Yeah. Because they, you know, thought that through, and they said, oh, you know, giving the Knight cover and defend is probably a pretty good idea, because then they become... We can kind of consolidate jobs that way. It's a shame about Viking, though. It means that it doesn't really get to shine anywhere outside of this game. Unless it's in 11? I don't remember if Viking is in 11. It's not in any other Final Fantasy game as far as I'm aware, though. Maybe it's in some of the side games, but... Matter of fact, I think it is a class in Sword of Mana, but it's not even remotely as the same as it is in this game. So... Oh, we're at 70% now, 78% on chests, and we actually did not inflict, again, more than the 23,520, which is very surprising to me. I would have expected that, but... Oh well, that was probably from a crit or something against an enemy that's weak to bows. We'll inflict more than that eventually, though. The file with the super boss has numbers that are... more than double that, for sure. One bard bodies the Final Fantasy V Earth Trench dungeon. Yeah, Requiem is pretty good for that dungeon in that game. It's also really good for Drakenvale because all the enemies there are undead. But a lot of people sleep on Romeo's Ballad in Final Fantasy V. If you haven't used that, it's the stop song of the game, and it works on all enemies. It works really, really well against the vast majority of enemies in the end of World 1, where you first get Bard, and for a good chunk of World 2 as well. So don't sleep on... it's called Stop Song in the Super Nintendo version, but it's called Romeo's Ballad in the GBA and the Pixel Remaster, if I'm remembering correctly. I know it's that in the GBA. I don't remember if they renamed it in Pixel Remaster, so... let's see. That would be 99,876. There we go. Refuse to play 11, even if there's an entirely different dev team. The Absolute Virtue incident is actually an irredeemable stain to you. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds ominous, whatever it is. Okay, but I think we've taken care of all the side content now. There is another town that we can go to, and we would get even better arrows than the ones that we already have now at that town, along with, you know, some Dark Knight equipment. So it's probably worth it to go to that town if you're going to use a Dark Knight before you go to the next area, the Cave of Shadows, because we got one Kotetsu just now from Bahamut's dungeon, but... Excuse me. Well, actually, no. You only need one Kotetsu if you're going to use one Dark Knight, so if you need more than one, though... Excuse me, there's a town that you can go to get more than one. It's off the floating continent, though. So, actually, no, there's one more thing that we need to go ahead and do before we move on. We need to go back to Saronia, because in Northwest Saronia is an NPC that can help us with a side quest, so let's go do that. Tilder, the devs made a super boss that was stupid AF to fight. Oh, is that the one where it's like level 99 or something and it takes 15 hours to beat it? I feel like I remember something about this. Like, I feel like somebody told me about this. Maybe it was even you, Marie, I'm not sure, but someone told me about this. One of the most ridiculous world raids, if your memory serves you? Oh boy. It's a good thing I wouldn't be doing that if I ever played 11, but quite honestly, I don't think that I could even get 11 working on my computer because I'm pretty sure... I mean, it probably does work. There's probably been some, like, workarounds to make it work on newer PCs, but, like, my PC keeps telling me to upgrade to Windows 11, so eventually that's probably going to happen against my wishes, and, then I don't even know what the hell you'd do for Final Fantasy XI. I don't know if it would even work on Windows 11 at that point. Anyway, here's the Legendary Smith. So she won't show up until you've taken care... Well, she will show up as soon as you start this pendant quest, but she won't actually fix it until you talk to Taka, so make sure you talk to Taka first before you do this. I mean, I wouldn't promise anything, but... Never know what she's going to have you do. We just met her. Okay, well, fair enough. People were getting their clears revoked for not beating the fight the right way when players couldn't do that is BS. What do they mean, the right way? Like, what does that mean exactly? What is there a right way? Because I don't know if that's the right design choice if there's a right way to fight a boss. That seems silly. Anyway, the pendant's fixed now. Awesome. So we can return that now if we want to, but we'll return it the next time we actually have to go to the floating continent, which is after the Cave of Shadows, so... Okay, sure, name it. We have heard of Orichalcum, actually. Another smith has told us about it. We haven't found any yet, though. Okay, sure, why not? And actually, the Legendary Smith is very magnanimous because she'll even give us the item that she crafts the Orichalcum into. So that's pretty good. And then we can just bring it right back to her, and she'll take care of that once we find it. But at this moment in time, we actually can't find the Orichalcum, so we gotta wait till we're done in the Cave of Shadows first. Okay, now we're done with side quests. Let's go tackle the Cave of Shadows, shall we? Heck, we're making pretty good time today. It's only been an hour and a half, and we're already on the last dungeon I was expecting to do today. We might even get through to the Earth Crystal and to the place where I want to go steal some items, which is a little bit scary, actually, because that means I'll need to get Thief to Job level 99 before we get there. It's okay. Anyway, over by here, so that little lake there, this lake is actually an indication. This lake that's circled by forest and desert, because the entrance towards the Cave of Shadows is right here. And they want you to do a little hop, skip, and jump over all these mountains in order to get there, so I guess that's fine. It's like a little maze, quote-unquote, but it's not really a maze. If you want any advice for this place, it's always take the second path. So like when there's branching paths, take the second one every single time. Once that happens, then you're going in the correct direction. Like here, there's a branch up, a branch down, take the branch down, because that's the second one. It makes more sense in a minute, though. Like this next juncture here is where there's a dead end, so because there's a dead end north, so don't take that one, take the second path over here. And that advice comes in the most handy when you get further up here, because you can't see down to where you need to see in order to get to the next area. But if you go up here, go here, don't take the first path, that's a dead end. Take the second one. Go here, and then here, and bam, boom, you're in the Cave of Shadows. Or right on top of it, basically. So the devs wanted people to do something that was very lag-dependent. Normal player groups literally couldn't do it. Just know that the devs showed open hostility to their subscription-based players, and that is beyond irredeemable. Yeah, that's silly. Like, what's the... Why open hostility? Like, that seems ridiculous. Just let them have their clear. Like, I mean, they found a workaround. Just because it wasn't the one you wanted, like, you need to be a little more hands-off with your video game than that, guys. Like, it's not healthy for you to do that. So... we don't need the magic arrows for right now. Let's just use the sleep arrows for now while we're just wandering around fighting random enemies in here. I'm going to equip the Tome of Fire in advance because the next area, not this one, but the one after this, is the one with an enemy that's actually weak to fire. Not that Angus is even going to get a turn to demonstrate that, but, you know, it's there just in case. So... Alright, well, we're saved. Let's head inside the Cave of Shadows. This is the longest dungeon that we have done in a while. It may even be the longest dungeon overall besides... No, it would actually be the longest dungeon overall. The Crystal Tower feels longer than this one, but it's not as many floors, so... Probably as long as it is, because there's a lot of secret passages to wander through. There's a Black Musk, another death cast, but I don't need to worry about that. Oh. I'll have to go check out this Falgabard place eventually. Like I said, we'll go there when it's necessary, but for now, it's not. I want to take care of all my business in Falgabard before we, you know, need to go there. Or rather, I want to get all my business so that it is there before we go there, because it seems silly to go there and then have to come back, you know. Falgabard isn't that out of the way, it's just like southwest of Saronia, but you need the Invincible to get to it, so... Oh, okay, sure, I'll take it. Thanks for the heirloom. I'll probably just sell it to my airship vendor. I don't know where the stock goes, but it disappears. Yeah, kind of like that, actually. I shouldn't make light. That man literally just died right in front of me, but he gives you a Katetsu, so if you have a Dark Knight and you haven't been to Falgabard, you now have 2 Katetsu, so you can dual-wield those to attack the enemies in here with them. The enemies in here are actually weak to katanas, so like they take extra damage from them, so... It's worth your while to have them if you can't KO them with physical attacks otherwise, but we don't have to worry about that. We have a ranger, so we don't need a Hulk. We don't need an army. We have a Lunith with a few arrows in his quiver. That's enough. Where the heck am I going? There we go. I imagine this place was a little more tricky to wander around in the NES version because, like, it's just so dark around there. Like, you can kind of see where there's a secret passage in this version, but I don't imagine you can see it that easily in the NES version specifically. I don't think this horse, this hellish horse here, splits off. I think the Vasago does, but not the horse, so... do I want to use any of these items? Again, I guess I could use the earthen drums, but... eh. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw a bomb arm at him. Why not? We should be able to get away with having just 10 of those items because we're getting so many Chocobos, Rats, and White Musks, so we can just throw those instead. But yeah, I'm not really worried about the, I'm not really worried about that part, and I probably could have just gotten away with whacking that guy upside the head with Ingus's books, but his books are going to start to fall off a little bit here, so. About to ask if the bad guys were on their 15-minute break so long without encounters. Yeah, really, we were getting pretty lucky there. But, I mean, I guess I'll take it, you know. There's a secret here. Oh, it's just a dead end, never mind. Didn't want to jinx it. Well, we all knew it was going to end at some point, but that's okay. Oh, I should check and see how many enemies there are in this area. Hold on, I haven't been doing my job. Where's the Cave of Shadows? Oh, it's right here. Okay. There are... how many new enemies? We've seen Silenus and Gap, so that's done. We've seen Deathclaw in the Sunken Caves. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 new enemies plus the boss, and we've seen 2 of them already. There's a third one on the first level of the cave, although that's available here as well. And then the last new enemies are further down, like floors 4 and below, which I forget if this is floor 4 or not. I'm not really worried about it anymore, quite honestly, because like I said, I've got all these monsters already in my bestiary. So, not super concerned about it. Well, there's a secret here. Don't know where it leads, though. Ah, it leads in a complete circle. Got it. So actually the way to go is over here, I think. Oh, good. 3 doors. Well, when in doubt, go left. I'll take the one on the left. It's pushing me this way. Okay, there we go. Ah, some of the Genji equipment. Cool. So if you're going to use a ninja in a little while, which you can get the ninja pretty much right after this dungeon, it's probably worth it to keep some of this Genji equipment because it's the best equipment the ninja can equip for right now. So, this way. Looks like... yep, there we go. But do make sure that you get all of the pieces of the Genji equipment before you leave here. There's a little... tricky thing that they do. Oh, there's Kronos. That's another one of the new enemies there. So the only ones we're missing now are Valifor and Hanil, and then that would be it for this area. So, but we may even find those eventually here. So, but yeah, make sure you have all the pieces of the Genji equipment before you leave here. You should get Genji gloves, a Genji helm, Genji armor, and a Genji shield. So. But there's this nasty thing that they do near the very end of the dungeon, 9 floors in, where if you don't keep a close eye on the stuff that you have, you'll have to trek through the entire dungeon again in order to get that one last chest for your 100% treasure rating. I'll show you when we get there, but we're not there yet, so... oh, we're getting job levels, too. That's not bad. Angus, you want to join in? No? Okay, fair enough. He only needs 5 actions to get a job level anyway, so I'm not really super concerned if he doesn't, you know. Let's see, over here, up here? Yeah, okay. And then here. Nope, not here. Here, yeah. Let's see, is this the start of the... yeah, so this is going to look a little familiar because it kind of looks similar to that other area that had a complete circle. But here, instead, you get to go down. There's only one path, and then you go this way. There's a Kikuichi Manji. So there's another katana that, again, you can equip if you have a Dark Knight, but it's also good for ninja shortly after this. So there you go. There's a Genji shield. This layout is basically exactly the same as the previous one, so... I didn't miss the Genji helm, did I? Let me just take a look. Let's see. Katetsu, Tranquilizer, Lilith's Kiss. We got the Genji gloves. Kikuichi Manji, Genji shield. No, I did not miss it. Okay, it's coming up in just a second. I just wanted to make sure because, again, I wouldn't want to miss it here and then be like, well, sorry, I didn't show all of them, so I have to go back through the dungeon to show you the other stuff, but no, I haven't missed it yet. It's on the next level. I'm just a hypochondriac about it because I have missed the final chest in this dungeon before when I've played this game, so it's not fun when you do that. Alright, but again, same layout as last floor. This one just had the chest up front instead of at the back. And new area. Ooh. Giant spine that we can walk across. That's neat. Little metal, but also neat. Oh, hang on. That did... Okay, as I say, I didn't want that to target something that wasn't the Vasigo, so... I guess I'll throw another bomb arm at you. Why not? Just make sure Ingus is getting his job levels from this. It's not really that big of a deal to get him job levels, though. As I said before, you only need to take 5 actions per battle to get a job level for Scholar. So, it won't take long to grind that up. Must be in one of those whale skeletons or something, or a dinosaur. I don't know. There's the Genji helm, so we're almost done with the full Genji set now. Uh-oh, the room's getting symmetrical. But it's not quite symmetrical because to the right here is a secret passage. Yeah, this is the nasty one that I was talking about. If you walk up, you'll actually fight the boss of this area, and then, well, you can still come back and grab the Genji armor from here because the boss doesn't kick you out of the dungeon, but... I have been kicked out of the dungeon before, having not gotten that chest, and then you have to come all the way back down here just to get it, which is a bit of a pain, unfortunately. So, but anyway, that should be everything. Let's just equip the magic arrows, since the sleep arrows aren't really going to help us here. So there's 2 enemies that we missed, again, Valifor and Heniel. We didn't see... Are they available on this floor? Let's see. Yes. Well, no, Valifor is not, actually. So if you want to fight these guys, you have to go back across the skeleton bridge that we took in the previous room and go back to... This is level 9, so the last one's level 8. Go back to level 7, and you can fight Valifor and Heniel in the same battle. Again, though, I'm not super concerned about it because I already have them in the bestiary, so I'll show them off when we get to that point. I'm going to use an Arctic Wind, actually, because it'll be easier to get more of these than it will be to get more bomb arms at this point. Bomb arms are going to become very difficult to get once we get Thief to job level 99, unfortunately. So. Arctic Winds, however, will not be very hard to get while we're still getting to job level 99, so... And there's another job level for Ingus, good. Let's see. How many white musks do I have now? Tranquilizer that we got inflicts paralyze. I think it's basically like there's a... It's not called stun. I forget what the black magic spell is. I guess I probably have it, so I can go check. But there's a black magic spell that inflicts paralyze. It's like level 6 or something like that. It's kind of ridiculous. Is it raise? I think it's raise. No, that's just the KO. It's Shade, that's what it is. So the Tranquilizer is the Shade spell, which is, I guess, not level 6, it's level 4. Oh well. I misremembered. Job levels, that's what I was going to look at. 90, well. Okay, we're doing pretty good on job levels. Won't be long now. Ah, this must be the Fang of Earth. Looks like a fang. Looks earthy even. Uh-oh. Apparently the Fang is being guarded this time, unlike previously where we just got it from some random act of kindness. This one's being guarded by a very tall man, Hecaton Kier. He's got a few less guns in this one than he did in Final Fantasy XIII, apparently. That's okay, we can still handle him. You know, I'm just gonna Loki harp him. We don't really need to start working on, like, okay, well, I need to use the Madura harp here because blah, blah, blah. That's not something we need to concern ourselves with just yet. Although he might be able to use Quake, so that might be a little bit of a tricky thing to deal with. Oh well, just throw a White Musk at him. Excuse me. There's only 9 White Musks in the entire game, so use them wisely. Or if you're doing a perfect game file, hold on to all of them, but it seems like a waste to me. Might as well use them for all the damage they can deal, you know? Especially since they get double damage out of the fact that Angus is a scholar, so... Or, you know, we can just kill him with one volley of barrage. Oh, God. What have I done? I've destroyed the game's difficulty. It's not even as bad as destroying the game's economy like I've done in other games. I've just destroyed the difficulty. No, like... This is the last time that the difficulty will be as destroyed as it just... Well, actually not the last time. It's the second to last time. After this dungeon and the next one, enemy HP starts ramping up very quickly. So barrage will be, you know, actually remotely, like... It'll still deal with them in one round, but you'll need to deal as much damage as barrage is dealing to deal with them in one round, so... Anyway, the next dungeon, well... We don't have to go into a dungeon, but we do have to go back to Doga's Manor in order to go and see them. So let's go see them first, and then we'll go from there. Again, make sure before you leave here you've gotten all the Genji equipment. You should have. Check your inventory real quick. Well, you should have a Kikuichi Manji, first of all, so that's probably worth looking for as well. Should have a Genji shield, Genji helm, Genji armor, and Genji gloves. If you don't have all of those, you missed one of them somewhere in the cave, so go back and grab it from wherever you missed it. I have all of them, though, so. You went downstairs to make food, and I wasn't even close to that boss. Meanwhile, you come back dead in one barrage. Yeah, that sounds about right. In the time it took you to go downstairs, make food, go back upstairs, and sit down, you made it to the boss and one-shotted it. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, this game is so silly. This game just lets me get away with stuff like this. Alright, did we deal? We had to, because I think he has like 28,000 HP, doesn't he? Apparently I haven't done... No, I have to, because I'm pretty sure, like I said, he's got like way more than 23,000. Oh, no, No, that's an 8, never mind. We have dealt more than 23,520, it just hasn't updated yet. Okay, fair enough. I don't know what's happening anyway, but... Oh, Sid will send us a new letter now, so let's check in on that. So, Doga's Manor is another place we have to go to. Sid has sent us another letter now. Something in the basement? Oh boy. Mrs. Sid came running up from the basement today, all scared like. She says she saw something big lurking in the shadows. I hope we don't have a monster down there. From Sid. We should probably go check on that, actually. The four old men have a new message for us as well. Sea voyage. I think this one came to us as soon as we beat Leviathan, but there you go. We once went on a sea voyage when we were a bit younger. Halfway through the trip, we saw this huge shadow gliding alongside our ship. We don't remember exactly where, but it was impressive. From the four old men. So there you go. They've got one more message, and Alice has got 3 more messages. Probably he's got another one right now, so... I have 0 master titles because I don't have anybody at job level 99, but that will change soon enough, so... After this defeat, Hekaton would then move to Australia to earn his gun license. Yeah, that sounds about right, Eggy Egg. We've already seen that version of Hekaton. He actually helped out pretty good, if I remember correctly, in Final Fantasy XIII, so hey, salute to that guy. But hello, Eggy Egg. How you doing? Welcome back. We just finished, as you saw, the Cave of Shadows, and we have a couple of side quests to go do now before we move on to the, well, where the Earth Crystal is in the final areas, so. Saronia today. It has been a while since Father has gone, but Saronia is now flourishing in its newfound peace. You should visit us again sometime. From Alice. Took care of that shadow already. Yes, I definitely did. I wonder if that was the shadow that they saw while they were like the one gliding along when they were taking a sea voyage, or if it was something else. For them, a while ago would have been like a thousand years ago, right? Because they've been asleep since 1,000 years ago. But I don't know. Time gets a little funky in Final Fantasy III, as you'll see in a little while. Like, how did Arya survive for the... Like, she would have had to survive for, what, 1,000 years without, you know... Well, maybe she was just, like, born in the darkness or something like that, but it's weird because there's some implications that happen a little bit later that may call that into question, but we'll talk about that when we get there, so... Time is really funky in this game, though. Let's see. I think I'm gonna just sell a few things. I don't think there's anything I need. I still have 3 otter shrooms, and that should be plenty to get me through. Not that I really need those either, because I can just teleport now, but, you know. Don't need that. Don't accidentally sell the Bacchus Cider. Don't need this. Keep those. Don't need that. Keep those. Might as well hold on to these, too. Don't need this. Won't need this either. Probably, again, worth keeping if you're going to have a ninja. I'm not, so get rid of that. Well, I guess we've got a couple of golem stabs now. I think, is that 3 that you could have gotten at this point? Probably. So then you could have 4 if you didn't have them before. Am I going to need this? No. You know what, I'll keep 1, because then if I have White Mage, then I can equip both of them. Don't need the Selene Bow anymore. It ran its race very effectively, but, well, it's been replaced by a heavy machine gun now instead, so... Keep the tomes for now. Don't need the Dark Claws, but these are another one that's probably worth keeping if you are going to have a black belt coming up soon. So there you go. Triton Hammer, I think I'll finally get rid of that. Not going to need it. Still need those for Thief. Let's see. I really don't need 3 Aegis Shields. I probably should just give one of these over to the Fat Chocobo, but I'm just going to sell one of them. I don't need it. I also don't need any of the Genji equipment, so I'm going to sell that too, just for consistency with my other file. I don't need 2 diamond helms, so I guess I'll get rid of that too. Let me think about that. Yeah, I don't need 2 of these. Okay, get rid of that. We can buy those, so it's not really such a big deal. Don't need this. Do need that for Thief. Thief can't equip Genji armor, I don't think, though. They can equip, like, the Fuma Garb, and we get that in a little while, which is an upgrade to the Black Garb, but unfortunately, despite the fact that Thief can equip the Fuma Garb, the Ranger cannot equip the Fuma Garb, which is really bizarre. I don't know why that's the case, but there you go. They just wanted to make Ranger less OP, I guess. I don't know. I shouldn't need these diamond gloves anymore, because in a few minutes I'm going to have a replacement for everybody's glove slot, so... Alright, well, I've made terrible mistakes in the process of doing that. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me later. It won't. I have a file where I won't need any of those things, but it's probably worth... Anything that sells for 1, it's probably worth holding on to that and just sticking it in Fat Chocobo's box, because, like, then you don't have to worry about it. It's like, well, this is literally useless to me in the shop. I can just give it to him, and then he can hold on to it, and it's not cluttering my inventory, you know? But... I'm a gremlin that likes to sell things that I probably shouldn't, apparently, so. Like the interior of this airship, but man, just wish it had a timed stock of items, hang on. So that's probably limited stock of items instead of a shop. It's my ship, I'm paying to buy stuff that should be mine. Yeah, fair enough. Maybe it's the Ancients stuff, so it's all in a vending machine and they force you to pay for it, I don't know. Ancient technology and all that. Also, holy shit, Heka in Final Fantasy XIII's design is pretty badass. The man measured his life choices. Yeah, his design is pretty great, honestly, in 13. It's just a ton of like arms that then turn into a ton of guns. That's pretty great. Doesn't make much sense. Yeah, well, that's okay. Doesn't have to, I guess. This is a game from 1990. Certain things just won't make sense. Nonsensical, you know. The 13 summon designs are sick as hell, too. Too bad they're not all that great to use. Yeah, I mean, I got my mileage out of them during the playthrough. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to beat the Adamantoise early before beating the main game without Brunhilde, but they don't really... They aren't just as effective as I would expect them to be, considering the fact that they're, like, demigods, basically, or, you know, kind of close to that in the world, but... You know, I mean, the summons in 10 were really OP, so I feel like everything after 10, they kind of had to measure against that and be like, these might be as strong as the ones from 10, and we don't want to do that again, so... Like, the Eidolons just wish they didn't fall off so hard, yeah. Honestly, like, they have their uses at times. I forget, did we use Odin against the Chapter 10 boss? I feel like we did, so that was useful there. We used Alexander against a couple of the marks. We used Brunhilde, like I said, against the Adamantoise. We used Shiva against Bartandalus too. That was fun. Prevented him from using Apoptosis to dispel all of my buffs. That was fun. So there's some utility behind the summons. It's just, you know, they're not necessarily there for damage. Sometimes they're more there for other things. So. Oh, by the way, you have all 4 of the fangs now, so if you really wanted to, you could go further northwest on this continent and go through this passageway here. You can destroy all of the statues blocking the Crystal Tower, which is Xande's tower. And if you go over there, you can grab the Earth Crystal right now. So, do I want to do that right now? I guess it wouldn't hurt. Think about that. You know what? Why the heck not, right? Might as well give it a shot. I've never done it this early before, but hey, there's a first time for everything. I didn't do this on the other file either, but you know what? It's alright. Let me save before I do this, just in case I get absolutely annihilated for some reason, despite the fact that I have all 4 of the fangs. But I said it before, it's probably worth doing this right now if you have been saving the side content for when you get the 4th crystal jobs, because then you've got 8 dungeons, including the 4 endgame dungeons, to use the Earth Crystal jobs on to build up some job levels, and so then you've got a couple of easier areas like the Sunken Cave and all of that to actually like work on them. So there you go. Like the Lassie are demigods in and of themselves, yeah, and there you go. So now what are the summons then, you know, if they're even better than that? An adjacent game with 6 summon designs was Type 0. Actually using them, though? See, I haven't played Type 0. I've heard a few things. Not all of them good, but... might be worth checking at some point, so... Hey, Marunik, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Strange how Final Fantasy III never made it to the GBA. Was wondering where 3 went after you finished 1 and 2. Yeah, that's a fair point, honestly. They had a working version for the Wonderswan Color, although I don't even know if that version ever came out. So... And if I remember correctly, that was where the GBA versions of 1 and 2 came from, was the Wonderswan Color versions. So, I don't know what they were thinking. Either way. Well, no, actually, here's what it was. You know what it was? Is they didn't have a working version for the Wonderswan Color. It was just almost completely developed. And then once it was almost completely developed, they scrapped it, if I remember correctly. I may be misremembering this, but... They scrapped development of the Wonderswan version of 3 because they were working on the DS version. So, I think. I could be misremembering my facts there, but that's what I think happened. So, but yeah, welcome. We just finished the Cave of Shadows. I'm going to go grab the Earth Crystal early just for the hell of it. And then we're going to go to see Sid about this monster in his basement. And then after that, we will go to... Well, there's a town that I want to go to as well, but then after that, once we've gone to those couple of places, we'll go to Doga's Manor, and we'll have a chat with him and Unei about the gift they want to give us. So you have to destroy these statues, as far as I'm aware, on foot, but then you have to walk back because there's a mountain range that the Invincible has to fly over. So. Alright, well, second verse, same as the first. We'll just do it the same way we did last time. Hopefully Angus will still get a turn. How's the kink? Let's see. Let's stretch it out. Still there. Definitely still there. Okay. Oh, God. Gotta make sure I sleep better tonight. Don't want to roll the wrong way and then this be even worse tomorrow than it is today. So. Thanks either way. It sucks it didn't make it, though. Yeah, you're right. I feel like a GBA version of this game would have been cool. The first Final Fantasy game that I completed was Final Fantasy I on the Dawn of Souls version, so I would have been down for a version of this game on the GBA, but yeah, it's just the way it goes, I guess. I think there's monsters in the air in this area as well. Ah, let's speak of the devil. There we go. It's the same ones you would have encountered on the Dalg continent, though. Although these ones have a little bit of an interesting mechanic to them. I'm just going to have Eric, like, punch them with his 2 shields. These guys are below me at this point anyway. Anyway, here's the new mechanic. This is ground team to Hurdy and Gurdy. I need fire support now. Yeah, the Invincible will shoot its cannons at the enemies and deal some damage to them before you attack them each round. It's damage with increased priority. Not bad. Of course, if these harpies confuse me still, that would be a little bit of a pain in the nuts, but, you know. Just book them to death, punch them to death. I don't think they have that much HP, so even Eric should be able to... Oh, never mind. I was going to say finish them off, but apparently not. Well, try again, I guess. Hey Brandon, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hello, the one Final Fantasy that you couldn't get into. Gotcha. Yeah, it's not for everybody, honestly. I have broken it over my knee just a little bit because the Ranger class is really, really strong, but you know, it's not. I would say it's not for everybody. The job system can be a little off-putting, especially if it's you know, a situation like with the Earth Crystal here, where you get all the jobs in the 11th hour, like all the jobs from the crystal in the 11th hour. But there you go. You were convinced that Xande was pronounced like Xande? I mean, it probably could still be pronounced like that. I've just been saying Xande forever, so I just sort of kept it that way. I don't know if there is an official pronunciation, quite honestly. It's probably like Desh, where there's not an official pronunciation, but like, as far as I'm aware, according to what someone else has told me, it is an actual Polish name and it's pronounced like Descha, but I could be mispronouncing that still. But that's the impression I get. And it could be pronounced like Xande or Xande, something like that. I just like Xande because a lot of the important names in this game, other than Doga and Unei, are one syllable or have a, like, their what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the emphasis, that's what I'm looking for. The emphasis is on the first syllable of most of the important names in this game. So Xande, it still keeps that trend of having the emphasis on the first syllable, but then it's just one syllable, you know? So the other makes him sound like a fashion designer from Wisconsin. Oh, that's pretty great, actually. That would be really funny. Give him like just that kind of voice of a Wisconsin fashion designer. He doesn't speak very much in this game, but it would be funny to hear. You're like, ooh, jobs. Then you get to the story, and don't get me going on Cid's failed airships. You do crash a bunch of Cid's airships in this game, don't you? And, I mean, the story is... I mean, it's not... There isn't a ton of it. I mean, I excuse it because it's a game from 1990 originally, but I get the idea, you know. There should be more probably to it, especially since they're re-releasing it. Maybe give us a little more. They do give us a little more in terms of side quests, but not by much, so... Anyway, this is the Ancient's Maze. It's the fourth to last dungeon in the game. It's not where we're supposed to go right now, but we can go here, and if we walk through this door right here, which is not locked, even though it looks like a jail cell. Oh, that sounds familiar. Heard that a while ago. It's been a little while, but I would recognize that sound anywhere. So, let's see. Tome of Fire's probably fine. Get the Loki harp out, magic arrows, and off we go. Let's go see what awaits us in this symmetrical room. Well, you should already know. It's the Earth Crystal. The real McCoy this time. Excuse me. Guess we finally found it. But unfortunately, just like the Fang of Earth, this one is also guarded. So you say, you have yet to break yourself against me. Let's see you try it. And almost immediately after fighting Hecaton Kyr, you fight his palette swap, who is called Titan, despite the fact that you have the Summon Titan already and he looks nothing like this guy. What was this game smoking, anyway? Well, either way, let's throw a few things at him, throw a White Musk at him, because he's not particularly weak to anything, I don't think. He probably casts Quake, just like Hecaton Kyr, but ideally, we won't have to worry about that. He has a little more HP, so we may have to worry about that, but we'll see. It'll be fine. I hope. I think. I think I saved right before this. If I didn't, then oh well. Oh, you're from the 90s? Okay, so you already know, like, in terms of the story of the game, how it could have been and how it ended up, so. Ah, there's Quake. How much damage will this deal? Yeah, okay, that's not much. I was expecting like 1,000 damage, quite honestly. That's pathetic. Get the hell out of here. Like, you did like 300 damage to 300 to 500 damage to the whole party with that. You got, that's your special attack. You got to do better than that. Oh, well, that's not good. Cool, thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, we've already mentioned the Crystal Tower a little bit. We've seen it in the intro, but it's called the Circus Tower. At least that's probably Xande's name for it, or the official term for it. But it's called the Crystal Tower. And He's using apparently the elements of the crystal tower against the crystals to bring forth the darkness, which is not really that great. So we'll have to do something about that. But before we do something about that, we've got a few last-minute jobs to do, and a few jobs to take a look at, because we've got the power of the Earth Crystal now. So that's going to unlock some new jobs. Let's get back outside before we take a look at those, though. You could continue through the Ancient's Maze if you wanted to, but you don't have the keys to get into the Crystal Tower just yet. There are 2 doors in the Crystal Tower where you need the keys in order to unlock the doors, so... You could get as far as inside of the Ancient's Maze, in that section just to the north part of the screen where the tower entrance is. You could go into the tower, go through as much as the first floor, and basically be shut out from going anywhere else, so... I mean, you'd get crystal equipment, because there's crystal equipment in the maze, and that's a direct upgrade to diamond equipment, but, yeah, probably not all that worth it, so... Oh, you were stationed in Japan? They like mushrooms! I can imagine this game being developed with a few mushrooms in somebody's system. I can see it. You were so close to missing this crystal. You started off hugging, you think, the left wall, and not discovering this room until you came back through the maze. Yeah, I could see how that would do that, then, yeah. I wonder if you can actually miss the crystal. Like, I wonder if they cut you off from doing something later if you don't get it. I've never tried that, to be honest, but... Oh, there you go. Still need to find that one interview where even the devs said that the finale of this game was the worst part. It's hilarious that even the devs think that part's awful. Yeah, I mean, I can see it, because, like, you have a whole bunch of... places where you just can't save all in a row with treasure chests, by the way, and if you lose in any one point there, you have to start from all the way back where you saved, and that's not great. So I think the plot's decent. It just has very little that stands out besides the light and dark world stuff. Yeah, it is pretty bog standard, honestly. Maybe I'm spoiled because I'm used to, like, Final Fantasy 1's story relative to this one, which was... I mean, Final Fantasy 2's story was pretty good, at least according to my thought process. For a game that came out in 1988, I think it was pretty great, but I would say this one is a little bit of a downgrade from 2, but... I mean, it's different game, you know what I mean? Different systems and everything like that, so... Stupid question, good drops from mobs. So the problem with drops in this game is that the drop tables that each enemy has is like, there's 4 items in their drop table and 4 items in their steal table, if I'm remembering correctly. The ones that I think are probably worthwhile to get are, at least drop-wise, there's Bacchus's Ciders, which you can get from Adamantoises and Ruinous Waves, Merman, and Sea Devil. Those are the ones in the Subterranean Lake. You could also get Chocobo's Wraths, which cast Flare when you use them as an item, from any of the Magician or Sorcerer enemies, so that's probably worthwhile. The Steel tables are probably a little bit better than the drop tables, which is a shame because you have to raise your Steel rates, your Thief, up to job level 99 in order to even get to take advantage of that, but... yeah, there's a lot of really good steals at higher levels. You can steal, you know, the attacking items, Antarctic Winds, Arctic Winds, Zeus and Heavenly Wraths, Bomb Fragments and Bomb Arms. You can steal Raven's Yawns at job level 99. There is a very specific, well, 2 actually, pieces of gear that you can steal with a job level 99 Thief. One of them is the Gungnir from Odin, although I think you can do that with a job level 71 Thief as well. And also, there's an enemy in the Ancient's Maze here that has a really good piece of equipment that I would like to steal 2 of before I finish out the game. So we'll talk about that when we get that far. But for now, we're not there yet, so... And then, yeah, the Onion gear as well in the tower, but if you know, are going to use Onion Knights, that Onion gear won't save you until you... get them up into the 90s when their stats start to take off. The Onion gear gives them some stats, if I remember correctly, but it's not great until their stats actually take off, so... It's just your Final Fantasy V coming through. Yeah, there are some really good drops in 5. I mean, you know, Chemist Mixes drop from pretty much whatever enemy drops them, they're guaranteed to drop them. There's quite a few good drops, honestly, but... For this game compared to 2, I'd say 2 has the better enemy drop tables because they had a new mechanic in this game, Steal, which lets you, you know, steal items instead of letting the enemies drop, so there you go. Let's check out the new jobs that we just got, shall we? Oh, hang on, Marunik has a question. Is the blood sword available here? Remember it being broken in Final Fantasy II and you console the last boss with it. Yeah, they nerfed it in this version of the game. You get it, there's only one, and you can get it from the shipwreck that you go to before you go to the Cave of Tides. So that's before the water crystal. If you don't get it there, you can't get another blood sword as far as I'm aware, but you can get a blood lance, which is the dragoon equivalent, and so it does the same thing. They're not as good as they were, though. The reason why it was so good in 2 is because it dealt a percentage of the enemy's max HP with every hit. So that was pretty strong. So yeah, reflect rings too. I'm used to getting my reflect rings as steals from the enemies in the Phoenix Tower, so I guess I'm not used to getting them from reflect knights. They're from reflect knights in the barrier tower, right? That's where you get them from drop rates, I think, if I remember my 5 correctly. But I'm used to getting them as steals from the Phoenix Tower instead. I do, in the barrier tower, though, I do abuse the chest that you can open with the flame dragon in it, or the red dragon, I think it's called. That has flame rings that you can steal from them, and I think it's the only steal. It's a rare steal, but you can steal it from them, and then you can leave, and there's a save point, like, right there. So if you escape from the battle using Flee, the chest resets, so then you can open it again, and there's another red dragon, you can steal another flame ring from them, and then close it again by fleeing, open it back up. 4 flame rings right there. Really easy to get. Well, not easy, it takes a while to get the steals, but you know what I mean. So, alright, new jobs. Let's take a look at the new jobs that we got. So, here's the first new one, Black Belt. It's an upgrade to the Monk, and as I said before, it has the highest vitality stat naturally in the game. It will max out at 99 vitality at level 99, which means it gets 1 every level. If you want more HP, this is the class to do it in. It equips claws as a weapon, and it also uses bare hands. It doesn't have the best armor selection, but the job level 99 armor for the Black Belt is actually really good. It's called, the Master Dogi. It has 54 defense, 23 magic defense, which is not necessarily great, but it increases their agility and their mind stats by 10 each, which is really good for the Monk, because those are the stats that they will not max out naturally, and their mind stat is actually pretty low, so it's a pretty good piece of equipment. But yeah, they're exactly what you would think they would be. If you've enjoyed Monk up to this point, the Black Belt is a pretty natural upgrade. So then there's the upgrade to White Mage, Devout. Again, the trouble with it, though, is that it just doesn't have the same spell power as White Mage does at this point, because if you've been using a White Mage this whole time, or a Black Mage, Devout and Mages just won't quite measure up until you get their job levels up to about 30. Which isn't saying much, because that doesn't take too long, but it takes long enough to where if you're just doing this in the regular game, you'd have to stop what you're doing, go grind those levels somewhere else, and then come back, because the enemies in these areas are pretty tough. So probably wouldn't be able to deal with them right away with these, or you would, but with just a little bit of difficulty. So the Magus, incidentally, is an upgraded Black Mage. The only advantage I see for these two is they can cast level 8 White and Black magic, which the White Mage and Black Mage can't, so... Summoner does not have that over Evoker, because Evoker can cast all 8 levels of summon magic, but Evokers are all random when it casts its summons. Summoners are not random, they are considered the high summons, quote-unquote, and they do AoE damage to the entire enemy party, so it's pretty good. They also have really good fashion. Let me save so I can show you what they look like. Hold on a second. I'll just reset the game after this and show you. Just show you what they look like, so... But the Summoner job is high fashion. Like, it's one of my favorite looking classes in the game. Their pants are a little goofy, but that's okay. We'll talk about Sage and Ninja in a minute, but let's look at Summoner on Lunith first. You'll see what I mean about the pants being goofy, but... I just like the outfit that he's got going on there with, like, the green, and then his purple turtleneck is still in there. They've got the Summoner's horn, and then they've got the really gigantic baggy pants. Hang on, let me go in here so I can show you, so I can zoom in. But yeah, I just like the tailcoat, the Summoner horn, all that sort of stuff. It's all really good. Refia is the one that kills it with this job, though, in terms of outfit. Take a look at this. Now, isn't that fancy? Hang on, let me go up here. She's all dolled up for the gala. Look at this. Like, that's beautiful. That's incredible. She's got the Summoner's horn. She's got this fancy dress with the tailcoat and the bow on the back of it. Like, That's excellent. I love the design there. It's great. Anyway, let's reset the game now. So that, you know what? Before I do that, let me show you talk about the other 2 jobs, and then I'll reset the game so I can go from there. So these 2 jobs, if you're playing the NES version, and I think also maybe the Pixel remaster, I don't remember, but Sage and Ninja are not available from the Earth Crystal in those. You have to go to Eureka in order to get these, which is a dungeon we do not have access to yet, but we will. Sage can cast, in this version of the game, Sage can cast all white magic spells, all black magic spells, and all of the evoker versions of... Where is evoker? There's evoker. All of the evoker versions of the summons. And in exchange for that, they have low strength, so they're not quite an upgrade to red mage because they don't have good strength and they don't have good equipment draws. They basically can equip everything a white mage or a black mage can. And their stats are kind of middle of the road. They don't have a particularly good, like... Magus is really focused on intellect, whereas Devout is really focused on mind. Sage, they've got a little of both, but it's not really like great for either of them. And their MP is not great either. They don't have very much MP for those high-level spells later on in the game, so it really kind of hampers their ability to do anything without feeding them elixirs. So, but there you go. And then Ninja is a really good melee job. The shuriken that we've gotten from a couple of treasure chests in this game, you can actually throw them with Ninja. You can also throw other items with Ninja as well, and they do pretty good damage as well. So if you buy weapons, you can throw weapons with Ninja. If there's any like trash gear that you don't need, you can just toss it with Ninja and do some good damage. They're really focused on single target damage, and they're also a logical upgrade if you've been leveling Ranger to help out with your arm strength, because they can dual wield. Well, everybody can dual wield, but they can dual wield katanas, do a lot of damage that way. They could also dual wield throwing weapons just like thieves can, so then you can keep them in the back row and they can deal massive damage with those. And we're going to get 2 better throwing weapons going forward in just a little bit. Like the ones we have now aren't great, but in the next areas that we go to, we'll be getting 2 better throwing weapons. So then you can keep your ninja in the back row, give them 2 throwing weapons as their equipment, and then have them throw shurikens when you're up against a boss or something like that, or other weapons. So yeah, they're pretty good. They can equip the Genji armor that you just got. They'll get the Fumo Garb in just a little bit to equip that instead of that for a little bit of extra. I think it gives a bunch of agility or something like that. But yeah, they're pretty good. Too good, in my opinion. Well, maybe too good is a misnomer. Everybody uses them because of the throw command, so I have strayed away from them. I'm just going to try to use, instead of using Ninja, especially since there are a bunch of ninjas going forward in the series, instead of using Ninja, I'm going to use Ranger. So hang on, let me reset this real quick, so that we can get our jobs back without having to deal with job adjustment from looking at summoner design. So yeah, black belts are pretty much the punch mages, quite honestly. So it is Red Dragon. Okay, there we go. Got it. That's right, you were actually screaming this last 5 run because you somehow ended up with the 20 reflect rings after the Phoenix Tower. I could see it, honestly. Like, you can get a lot of them from... I think they're a common steal, if I remember correctly, in the Phoenix Tower, so it's not really out of the question to get that many. And that's not counting the 4 you got in the Barrier Tower. Yeah, there you go. Just realized everyone looks like they don't want to be here in the status screen images. Yeah, that's a part of the whole... That's Yoshida's design. They're just neutral-faced in that whole thing, you know? You're biased because you main a summoner in 14. Yeah, fair enough. I also... Well, I didn't really have a main when I played 14. I had 1 tank, which was Dark Knight. I had 1 healer, which was Scholar. I used Summoner, and then I kind of just switched up my melee job, basically. I never used a ranged DPS, but I did play Monk, Samurai, and Ninja. So I'm a little biased for Summoner as well, which may be why I like their fashion so much. But there you go. Anyway, we got the Earth Crystal, so now let's go take care of our errands. There's 1 new town for us to go visit. We need to go and check in with Sid about this monster in his basement. And then after that, we'll go see Doga and Unei. Yep, that's not the way I'm supposed to go. I don't know why, I always go to the right for some reason when I go through here. I feel like it's almost like I think there's a path that curves around. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, I don't know. Final Fantasy V also has those outfit changes whenever you pick a job. Most of them are quite goofy, but some of them are all right. Yeah, I like certain ones. Kryle's White Mage is a standout for me. She just looks super cute in that. I actually really like most of Bartz's, although his ninja one is pretty good. Dragoon on him is pretty good too. Samurai is pretty good on him. I think most outfits Bartz does a pretty good job in. Like, he kind of kills those outfits. I actually really like Ninja on Lena as well, although Chemist is also really good on Lena. Ferris, I like Blue Mage. I just think it fits Ferris really well. Yeah, I don't know, there's probably a couple of other ones I'm not thinking of, but... Yeah, I generally, like, I enjoy the outfits in this game a little bit more than the outfits in 5, but, I mean, in this game they've got full-on models, whereas in 5 they've just got the little sprites, so... Excuse me. Bad joke time. Ninja is the first pay-to-win job. I mean, that's not wrong, quite honestly. You're not really wrong about that one. That's true, though. Final Fantasy VI's Ninja is probably your favorite one. Yeah, the Ninja in 6 is really good. Like, his throw command is so powerful in that game that you literally don't need to give him magic. You can, if you want, but his throw command is pretty much always going to be better than any magic he can cast, even though magic is really atrocious in 6, but, you know. You find it absurd to have a ninja class in a Western medieval fantasy game, but there it is. Yeah, well, they didn't have Samurai just yet either, so they kind of combined the two because Ninja in this game can use katanas and stuff, so I just forgot where I was going, sorry. I gotta go to the floating continent first before I go to Falgabard. Because Falgabard, as it turns out, is the next place where the, well, I guess I'll just spoil it now. I was gonna do it by going back to Northwest Saronia, but the legendary smith actually leaves Northwest Saronia once you've finished up the pendant and you get the Orichalcum. So she ends up going, I think I passed the floating continent, did I? Let's see. No, it's just to my left. I didn't pass it, but I would have passed it if I kept going. But she leaves and she goes to Falgabard, so... Actually, you know what? She's not even going to be in Falgabard yet, now that I think about it. She's not going to go there until after we go to the Crystal Tower, but we need to do something in the Crystal Tower first, so... Alright, well, either way, let's drop off the pendant while we're here. We'll grab the Orichalcum from Cid, and then we'll, I'm trying to think if I want to go to Falgabard anyway. Where am I going? Wrong place. I gotta go to Castle Sassanei to drop the pendant off. Maybe we'll wait to go to Falgabard until a little later, actually. Because, we'll get the Orichalcum shortly, but, we don't, The trouble is, you won't be able to go find the Legendary Smith in Falgabard until after you do something in the Ancient's Maze and in the Crystal Tower, by extension, so... Kryle's entire MO is just to look cute, let's be honest. I mean, that's true, honestly, so... Warrior, Summoner, White Mage, Bard, and the best floor tank in the game. Yeah, there you go. Gotta use that one. Why not? I mean, that covers all of your DPSs and everything. So you got your tank, your healer, your range, your melee, and your magic DPS. So it's too bad said Ninja Shadow is your favorite character, and you forgot to wait a certain moment. Oh yeah, that would be a bit of a problem then. Yeah. At least the dog made it out okay though. In that timeline. If you wait for Shadow, his dog does not make it out in time in the very end of the game. So you kind of have to weigh the life of a ninja versus the life of a dog. Which do you value more? Oh, that's a terrible conundrum. I would never want to make that decision. Although I'm a little biased because I love his dog, so... Anyway, here's your pendant back. Yes, we did. Ah, well that makes sense. I'm glad that you're happy about it there, Princess. So, yeah, that's it for that side quest. You don't get a reward for it, and I don't think she gives you one. As a matter of fact, I've talked to her after this, there's no reward for it. But it helps move things along with the Legendary Smith, so just giving that back to her and seeing her smile is a bonus. So at the prospect of having to replay 10 hours of Final Fantasy VI to get him back once you found out about this, you just quit. Yeah, honestly, fair. If you don't have a save, like, right before that, where it's like, oh, crap, I can't get him back because I did that, and it's like, you don't find that out until you go to the Cave on the Veldt. Yikes. Does changing jobs affect the game? Like, you need to be that to trigger this scene, or is it like Final Fantasy V? So, if you're a thief, you can open doors that are locked in this game. But other than that, the only major change that jobs have in this game is the fact that you have to go through a job adjustment phase when you switch from one job to another. You can mitigate that by gaining job levels, but typically you have to have an adjustment phase of at least 2 battles when you switch from one job to another. And what that does is it just lowers your stats for a few battles, basically. So, yeah, it's kind of a prototype to how they do things with jobs in Final Fantasy V, basically. Yeah, and then most of the gear was shared, too. That's also true, yeah. Just made that so much more effed up, I know. Had to make it a much more difficult decision, I guess. The worst part of jobs in this game is that you get job sickness. Yeah, there you go. So job adjustment is job sickness for a few fights where you have reduced stats. The worst part of the mandatory jobs is having access to Toad and Mini for multiple dungeons. Yeah, that's true too, actually. You need to have access to the Mini and Toad spells, which are level 2 white magic, in order to even get into some of the dungeons in this game. So in that respect, White Mage or a job like White Mage, so Red Mage even, which can cast those spells, is required, quote-unquote, but not like... There's other ways to get Mini. There isn't other ways to get Toad, because I don't think any enemies cast Toad, but you can get Mini by using the mallet item. You just can't use the you just can't buy the mallets until after the first required Mini dungeon, so yeah. You're very civil about this, Sid. I would probably be fuming if a monster took residence in my basement, but yeah, that probably would work pretty well. Oh, fair enough. All right. I'll go take care of it. I have a kink in my neck, but I should still be able to take care of this monster. I have a bow and arrow, and I'm not afraid to use it, so. Job adjustment was awful. You're glad it never came back. Yeah, it didn't really add much, honestly. It was kind of, like, it only reduces your stats by, like, 12.5%, and it doesn't really do much of anything for those moments when it's there. So, like, I might have 37 strength instead of 39. Oh, no! Like, big deal. Oh, this must be the monster that Sid was talking about. Funnily enough, this monster is, if you don't find it down here, you can also find it on the world map on the way to the Crystal Tower in the forests. We just didn't see it, so. There was actually only one monster that is in the grass areas around the Crystal Tower that we haven't seen now with this guy in our bestiary, and it's Minotaur, I think it is. So, what arrows do you have equipped with? Still the magic ones? Let's stick the sleep arrows on. You won't need magic arrows for this. Matter of fact, you probably don't even need Barrage for this, quite honestly. If Provoke hits, I mean, he's probably just dead anyway, but let's just do this. If nothing else, it'll give Ingus a chance to whack him upside the head with the bullets. Another bad joke. Switch jobs when we play Magic the Gathering while we wait for summoning sickness to fade. Yeah, that's true. I don't know much about Magic the Gathering, but my brother has played it a little bit, and so he's told me that summoning sickness is not a whole lot of fun. So that one probably, for me, isn't quite as much of a joke, but it's still a joke. What do you suppose this is? Well, it's unknown metal. Maybe Sid'll know what it is. He's pretty good with airships, so I gotta imagine he's come across a few metals in his time working on airships. Get stuck on treasure chests here. Imagine having a monster move into your basement and just make it your roommate. Sounds like a mediocre sitcom. Yeah, that's about right, honestly. I could see it being some kind of anime or something. I really like this line from Luneth. I don't know why. It's just... It feels like a personality that we haven't seen from him anywhere else in the game. It sounds like something Daxter would say, actually. So maybe that's what it is. And then there's this reply from Sid, like, I hope excessive force was utilized. Actually, that's not Sid's voice. I hope excessive force was utilized. Yes, of course it was, Sid. Do you expect anything else? I have a ranger. I have the gun. I have the big iron. Yeah, do you know what this is? Oh, okay, well, we've been looking for that, so fair enough. Yeah, so you actually now have access to the orichalcum that the legendary smith was looking for, but if you go looking for the legendary smith... Why is connections in quotes? Sid, you're getting the wrong idea! God, this guy's such a lecher. Anyway, yeah, if you go looking for the legendary smith right now, you actually won't be able to find her until you've trekked a little bit into the Crystal Tower. There's an optional area in the Crystal Tower that you can go to where once you unlock that area, that's when the legendary smith will become available. Although I won't be going there until we've completed that area, but that's okay. But we now have the orichalcum, so once we, can find the legendary smith, then we get to go. So, Imagine telling pest control that you have a demon in your basement. That would probably throw them for a bit of a loop. Yeah. Are you maxed out? Okay, you are maxed out. Okay, I'm not going to rest then, since, you know, we are good to go. So we could go to Falgabard now. I don't really see the point, because, again, I'd rather take care of all of my errands there, like... Well, let me think about that. Actually, I do see a point going there. Let's go there now. I want to go there and take care of all my errands at the same time, but at the same time as me saying that, there is an upgrade for us there, so I think it's worth our time to go there. If only for the upgrade, and we'll grab the treasures while we're at it there. Because there's actually a few treasure chests in this town, unlike in other towns, so that's Unei's Cave. I think the next one is the one that you go through to go to Falgabard. Off topic AF, but you heard the new season of King of the Hill is actually good so far? See, I never watched King of the Hill. Like, I've seen Family Guy. I don't think that's a good comparison, but I've seen Family Guy because that was just on the, like, networks that my parents watched, but, like, I don't think King of the Hill was on either on that network or it was on at the time that we were watching TV, so... Oh, you know what I could do is I could buy some more arrows, so... not that I really need to top them off, but I'll buy a few while I'm here. Still haven't seen all of the old King of the Hill, so that gives you something to look forward to. Oh, there you go. Like I said, I don't have any real experience with it, but... If it was good, then, yeah, like you said, gives you something to look forward to. We have so much money. We have almost 600,000 gil now, and I have nothing to spend it on but arrows. This is the exact opposite problem that most people have at the end of this game, which is that they don't have enough money because they're spending 65,000 of it to buy one shuriken. So... King of the Hill was so much better. I believe it, honestly. I didn't particularly like Family Guy even when I was a teenager, and as an adult, it grates on me in ways that I just don't like at all. So, yeah, I can imagine it was probably... The bar probably wasn't too high, honestly. But that's not to say anything about King of the Hill, just saying the bar is probably not that high for me to be like, yeah, I like this better, you know? So. Incidentally, I don't think... Let me think about that. I also don't think I've seen very many episodes of The Simpsons, now that I think about it, either. It's just a show that I never really watched. I don't know why. Maybe, again, I think it was just, again, on networks that we didn't watch, but, yeah. Prefer King of the Hill over Family Guy or American Dad because they're more heartwarming and closer to reality. Yeah, honestly, I could see it. Like, Family Guy just kind of goes off in crazy land at some points, whereas those ones, I can imagine, are more down to earth. Same basic premise, Hank gets to adjust to a world that he doesn't quite get. He isn't mad about it, just confused. And honestly, that alone is a little bit better, because, like, just being confused about it means that there's a lot less weird, zany situations that just are so bizarre that you can't really get into them happening. So, been, think, 8 or 10 years now. Bobby's in college. Oh, okay. So I think Bobby's his kid, right? If I remember. I don't remember much about it, but I've heard a little bit about it, so... Anyway, yeah, this is Falgabard. The Legendary Smith would be over here, but she's not here right now, so we don't know where she went. She's not in Northwest Saronia, though, so if you go back to where she was when she repaired the pendant for you, she's not there, so... Well, fair enough, but also ninjas can use them. I think there's actually even an NPC in this town that talks about ninjas, now that I think about it. So there's level 3 magic here, black and white magic, which might seem a little out of place, but if I remember correctly, in the NES version of this game, Dark Knights can use up to level 3 white and black magic, I think. It might just be white magic, but that would be a little weird because they're a Dark Knight, but I don't know. They can use magic in that version of the game, that's all I know. Here's a Demon Mail and Demon Shield if you want it. I don't need them because we'll literally see those at the beginning of the next Final Fantasy game I'm planning on playing. And I think you can buy Katetsus and maybe Ashuras from here, which are both effectively worse. Okay, you can just buy Ashuras from here, which are both effectively worse than the Kiku Ichimonji you got, but it is better than the Katetsu, so there's that. That being said, my eyes are on the other prize here, the Demon Axe. No, it's my eyes are on the Yoichi arrows. So, you know how magic arrows have 27 attack power? The Yoichi arrows have 40 attack power, which makes them exceedingly more powerful than any other arrow that you can get in the entire game. And again, even despite the fact that they're 500 gil apiece, that is still way cheaper This is like half the price of a shuriken. And they have 40 attack on them. So eventually, your damage output with bows, once you get the job level 99 bow that you get as a reward for maxing out Ranger, you'll have 162 attack with the Yoichi arrows and that bow equipped. I already will have 135 with the Eurytus bow that I have, and the Yoichi bow is just effectively a slightly better Selene bow, but it's a lot worse than the Eurytus bow, so yeah, not my cup of tea. But yeah, 40 attack on that guy. I'm sorry, why? Because Ranger has always been overpowered. It's just nobody's talked about it. Because why would they? They have Ninja instead. They want to pay out the nose for their ammunition and their damage. I don't, so I'll just stick with the bow guys, actually. Don't watch Caillou. I think I've seen some episodes of Caillou, like, way back in the day. Like, I watched it with some really young cousins when it was airing. I don't remember anything about it, though. So, don't remember anything about Caillou. That was literally only your childhood. Fair enough. SNES RPGs are quite crazy. Never really got into them except Chrono Trigger. Prefer the GBA over the SNES. Your rapid attack for the win. You gotta love rapid fire. Yeah, SNES RPGs can get a little bit zany. I did really like Chrono Trigger myself, though, so I can understand the hype on that one. I mean, there's Final Fantasy V. We've talked about that already. Final Fantasy VI, I enjoyed those. Super Mario RPG is my jam. Absolutely. Am I forgetting anything on the Super Nintendo? Those are kind of the three main ones that come to mind, although Final Fantasy V never came out in the US on the Super Nintendo version. It wasn't until the GBA version that came out, so... actually, about that, I just killed them with arrows, so... And yeah, there's that. So if you went here before you... Why are you tweaking, sir? If you went here before you went to the Cave of Shadows, you'd kind of know everything that was going on in the cave, and also that Ninja can equip the same equipment that he's still tweaking. Ninjas can equip the same equipment that Dark Knights can, so... We'll see about that, old man. So yeah, there's a couple of caves here, and they're kind of... This is called the Training Cave, if I remember correctly, and it's kind of and it gives you an idea of what to expect in the Cave of Shadows because there's a secret passage in here, I suppose. So... Yeah, there's Lufia 2 as well. I forgot about Lufia. I think Lufia 1 and Lufia 2 were both on there. And then there's Dragon Quest V, yeah. So those are kind of the ones that I forgot about. Secret of Mana, I've heard, is really good. I haven't played it. At some point I was going to play it, and then I just never picked it up. So, oh, these are Death Claws. I wonder if you can see the same enemies in here as you can see in the... Oh, wait, hang on. Go back. No, you know what? I'm going to barrage anyway. I was going to do the thing to get Ingus job level, but I don't think he's going to get a chance. And these Death Claws have more HP than they should, so... Breath of Fire, that's another one. Yeah, the Breath of Fire games were really good. I've only ever seen those played. I haven't played them, but... Those were pretty good. Have I played it on the Switch? Chrono Trigger on the Switch, or which one on the Switch? I don't think... Most of the games that are on the Nintendo online store, I haven't played on the Switch, just because I don't have Nintendo Switch Online, so, like, I haven't really had a chance. You probably can still get them anyway, but I haven't really had a chance to look, so... There's a Demon Mail. Is there a secret passage here? Yes, there is. And up here. Okay, there we go. There's another Katetsu. And an Ashura. So, I think that's everything for this cave. Well, there's Silenison Gap again, I think. So, probably what it is you can probably encounter the same enemies here as you can encounter on the early floors of the Cave of Shadows. So it's probably not like all the same ones as the ones in the cave, but hey, you can, at least if you missed a few on the first floors, you can fill out your inventory. Oh, Super Mario RPG on the Switch. No, I haven't played the remake yet. My intention for the stream when I play Mario RPG is to play the original Super Nintendo version, because that's the one I played as a kid, but I have heard that game, the remake, is really good. I've also heard that the Paper Mario remake is really good, although I think that's more of like a remaster than a traditional remake. Like, the Mario RPG Switch version feels to me more like a remake than a remaster because of all the extra... Like, there's new graphics and new mechanics in that one, if I remember correctly, whereas Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door feels more like, oh, these are the two... Yeah, Valfor and Haniel. Okay, well, I guess you can find them then. So, fair enough. So now our bestiary for the Cave of Shadows is complete. That's nice. But yeah, it feels more like a remake Mario RPG than a remaster because there's new mechanics and stuff. And oh, sir, you're in for a treat when you play Breath of Fire. Yeah, like I said, I've heard good things. I've watched... Which one did I watch? I feel like I watched, like, Breath of Fire 3, I think, or something like that. That sounds right, but I could be wrong about that. So, I feel like that was the one I watched. But, it's been years. I watched H.C. Bailey play it, so it's been quite a while. Honestly, didn't really play a lot of anything that debuted on the Super Nintendo. Definitely picked up gaming with the original Game Boy. Yeah, honestly, like, I mean, I played Mega Man X. That was... Actually, no, that was not the first video game I ever played. The very last game I'm planning on playing for the stream is the very first video game I ever played, because I never beat it on the original Super Nintendo. I did beat... There was a remake of it that came out, like, a long time ago, but, and I beat that version, but I did not beat the original Super Nintendo version. So my intention with the last game that I ever play for the stream is to beat that version of the game, so... But I won't say what it is just yet. You'll find out eventually, so... It might be a while, but you'll find out eventually. Secret of Mana, the first 10 minutes was good until you fought the first boss. It's so poorly designed. Okay, well, I mean, like I said, I've heard it's good. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard, so... Now, actually, you know which one that people talk about now more is the one that came after Secret of Mana, because that one got a remake, didn't it? I think Secret of Mana also got a remake, but my understanding is the Secret of Mana remake was garbage, whereas this remake was actually good. It was like an HD 2.5D, HD 2D, the one that, like, the Octopath Traveler style of graphics, if I remember correctly, so, yeah. Also wonder why Dragon Quest series never made it onto the GBA. We only got Dragon Quest Caravan Hearts, but you hate monster taming mechanics because you prefer killing monsters over loving them. Monster taming is a genre, to be honest, a genre that you hate. I don't know, I grew up with Pokemon, and I have, in my adult age, played Ni no Kuni and SMT games, so monster taming is just kind of a comfort zone for me, but I can understand. Like I said, it's not for... I said it about something else, but it's not for everyone. So... Anyway, there's also a cave inside this waterfall, because, of course, there's a secret behind the waterfall. Why wouldn't there be? Let's go down here first. I don't think there's any monsters in this cave, though. Make sure you get a translation patch for them. The writing in the early days was rough for Breath of Fire. Yeah, honestly, I could see it, because it was a Capcom RPG, right? So, like, Capcom's early translations were a little iffy. But that's fine. Doesn't really bother me, but a translation patch probably wouldn't be out of the question, so... There's some treasures over here by this rock in the middle of the river. I don't think those count towards your treasure checklist, though. I think only treasures that are actually in treasure chests count towards that, so I wouldn't worry too much about these if you don't find them, but they're here in case you want them. Yeah, 2.5 3D, whatever that was. Like I said, the Octopath Traveler style. I think they remade... I know they remade a couple of, or they're in the process of remaking a couple of the Dragon Quest games in that same style, but I think they also remade, would that be Trials of Mana? I don't remember what the actual name of Mana 3, the third Mana game was, but, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Oh, yep, and they were cheap. Oh, boy. I don't know if cheap just means inexpensive or cheap means, something else, but... Oh, okay, sure, old man. I'll go around. Well, it says he's a boss, but this is Shinobi, and quite honestly, I'll probably KO him with 2 barrage hits. I think he's only got like 11,000 HP. You can encounter this guy inside the Crystal Tower, though, so if you don't encounter him here, you can always do it there. But, might as well fight him now, just to get it out of the way for the bestiary. We really slowed to a crawl near the end of this stream, didn't we? We were making so much progress, and then all of a sudden I started just doing random stuff instead. Oh well, that's fine. Yeah, like I said, 2 hits and he's done. You love monster taming or using non-human entities, so you were always drawn to the summoner class. You know, honestly, that's probably why I like the summoner class as much as I do in most of these games, because I've always been just enamored by the idea of having things that are in nature use their natural abilities to help you. So like almost like druid style or something like that, you know what I mean? There was a game that we played for the stream that I've since deleted the videos for because I hated the game itself, but it was Gothic 3. And they had these druid style spells with monster taming in the game. So like you would fight random monsters out in the wilderness, but you could cast a spell on them to make them your ally. Marie was here for this. We spent like a stream and a half with, I kept casting the spell until it worked. If I remember correctly, it took a few casts for it to work, but there's this rhinoceros that you could tame and use as an ally in that game. And the rhinoceros is supposed to be a deterrent. It's in the road, and it will chase you down and kill you if you try to go to the castle area too early. It's supposed to be a deterrent to prevent you from doing that. So me, being as big-brained apparently as I was, I decided this guy would make for a cool party member. So I cast the druid spell to make him my ally, and he literally was a tank. We spent a stream and a half with that guy basically killing every monster I could think of on the road, until he got ganged up on by like 4 bandits that had really powerful swords, and he died, and I was very sad for the rest of the stream. Nothing could make up for the hole in my heart that Mr. Rhino left when he passed, but he is remembered. It is the only light in the darkness of Gothic 3 that I do remember fondly. At least there's something in that game that I remember fondly. Gothic 2 was a shit show. Oh, God. I keep throwing that game under the bus, and I apologize to anyone that actually enjoyed Gothic 2, but comparison to Gothic 1, Gothic 2 just rubbed me the wrong way right from the get-go, and it never got back on the bus for me. Those were the days. Gothic was rough. It took some getting used to, but I did enjoy the first one. Like, it really made you feel like a weak, like, villager, basically, at the beginning of the game, and then you got a lot more powerful by the end. It really played into that. Like, the power play between mechanics and story really interplayed well, and I thought that was good. So, 2 questions. Do you like tactic styles of games? I like them, but I'm not good at them. I've tried Final Fantasy Tactics, and I could never get into it, to give you an idea. And the Fire Emblem game that I enjoy the most is Sacred Stones. Well, New Mystery is pretty good, too, actually. But Sacred Stones is generally considered to be like one of the easiest games in the series, so that gives you an idea of my skill level with this stuff. We've also played XCOM for the stream, although that was a while ago now, and I think my body count by the end of XCOM was like over 20 soldiers. Something like that. I had to replace a bunch of people by the time it was over. So. And the second question, do I take requests for games? I do take requests, although I haven't played any of them in a while. Because I'm trying to cut down on my own backlog at the moment. So I'll take the request. I don't know when I'll get around to it, though. So I will take the request if you would like to offer it up, but I have no idea when it'll happen. So like I said, I've got a lot of backlog to work with at the moment, so that's why I'm trying to work that down before I really start. Okay, I'll take requests again, you know, so. Gothic is for the Eurojank enthusiasts. It definitely was very Eurojank, yes. But, I mean, I had fun with the first one, at least. I got to sell weed in a video game. Haven't had that experience before. Kane and Lynch 2, your go-to, your go that game and then burn in the 7 hells. Yeah, I could see that being. I think I remember Kane and Lynch 2. I think I remember people saying it was like one of the worst games that have ever existed when it first came out. So, yeah, I could see that being a problematic game. Try playing Pokemon, but it just wasn't for you. It was you were more on monster killing, dragon slaying, and darkness vanquishing type of games. Yeah, fair enough, honestly. Like I said, I don't think monster taming is a genre that everyone needs to be into. It's just what I grew up with, so I'm used to it. So, love how you muted, left for a bit, came back, and the first thing you hear is Sacred Stones. Yeah, you've got good timing there, Marie, apparently. XCOM is XCOM. It hates everyone equally. You know, you're not wrong about that, actually. How do I want to do this? So the next area we need to go to is back to Doga's Manor. There's a little bit of a thing to do there, but we've only got 12 minutes before I want to stop for the day, pretty much. So I might want to stop early now, because then if I do that, I can then go to the Ancients Maze, and I can finish that. I can go do my raids on the Crystal Tower that I'm planning on doing, and then we can come back out and do all the other stuff that I have planned. Like, we got to go to Falgabard again so we can talk to the legendary smith about the orichalcum, but we can't do that till we go into the optional area in the Crystal Tower, so got to go do that. I'm just trying to think about, like, okay, what am I going to be doing next stream? I won't be finishing the game next stream. Probably it'll be like an hour and a half. No, it'll be like 2 hours when we actually finish the game, so we'll probably have a full stream next time if I stop here, and then the finale will be like 2 hours if we do it that way. So, you know what? That sounds good, actually. Hopefully that sounds good to everybody else. I'm going to stop here for the day. So, let me see what everybody said in chat, and then I will call it for the day. We're almost to level 43 as well. Maybe what I'll do is I'll also go and steal those items that I want to steal, because I want to get a total of... Well, we have 1 right now, but I want to get 4. We'll get another 1, and then I want to get a 4th one. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Whatever. I've got time. Probably going to start with Sacred Stones, although you did spoil yourself on the villains. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a deterrent, honestly. Sacred Stones has a lot of content to it as well. So, like, even if you know who the villains are, you've also got all of the end game stuff and the post game stuff that you can do. So there's some optional stuff that's not really talked about too much because it's optional, so not a lot of people talk about it. But it gives you a lot of game, so you get a lot of bang for your buck there, you know. Oh no, it's almost 10:30. You should go to bed after you take your meds. You've been really bad about taking them lately. Keep forgetting. Ooh, don't do that. Remind me to remind you, Marie. Take your meds when I'm done with the stream, because that way we know you won't forget if I'm sitting here telling you take your meds. I'm playing this game on easy mode because if you grab a stick and hit them, they'd get 99,999 damage. I'm not playing the game on easy mode. There's no difficulty setting in this game. If I look here and then, oops, look here. There's no difficulty slider. So the reason why everything's getting whacked upside the head for so much damage is because Luneth not only has job level 92 on Ranger, there's also a hidden mechanic in this game called arm strength. It's kind of like weapon proficiency in Final Fantasy II, where basically in this game, every 32 times you use the attack command, you gain 1 level of arm strength, and that, along with job level and every other stat in the game, basically, determines the number of hits and the amount of damage that you do. I've explicitly been using Luneth on Ranger because its Barrage command counts as 4 uses of the attack command. So that basically means every 8 times I use Barrage, I get a level of arm strength. And that means that Luneth is dealing exceedingly more melee damage than basically any other class in the game right now, and if he was to take that melee damage to any other melee job after this, like if I wanted to use Ninja, he could, and he would basically start with, instead of starting with by doing like 4 or 5 hits like he would if he just went to Ninja from anything else, he'd start by doing about 26 hits, and the cap is 32. So, well, the soft cap, you can do more than that if you have enough arm strength, but you would have to have a high job level and a high arm strength level to do that. But that's why Luneth is destroying everything in this game, because his arm strength is so high and his job level is so high that he can just annihilate everything. That will ramp up, though, because, as I said before, enemy HP values are going to get a little bloated in the last few dungeons, as we'll see. Triangle Strategy, it's a tactics style of game that's got 3 storylines that intertwine throughout the game. You've got close to 300 hours in it. Holy crap, that's a lot. Wow. I've heard about Triangle Strategy a little bit. I just haven't tried it. Maybe I'll look into it and see what it's all about. So is that the suggestion that you want to leave then, Brandon, in terms of the games that I take requests for? Because I can add that to... I have a little... I can make a little note of it if that's the game you want to suggest. So... While you do that, though, I think I've already saved, but I'll save again, because that's going to do it for today's episode of Final Fantasy III, the Stream Edition. Excuse me. Come back next time. We'll go see what gift Doga and Unei have to give to us. And then after that, we'll tackle the Ancient's Maze and the Crystal Tower, which is a place I have not been to since... when did we do that dungeon? In Heaven's Ward, I feel like? Something like that, or right before Heaven's Ward. I don't remember exactly, but it's been a while since we did it in 14, although I have been to the Crystal Tower itself at a later date in 14, but it's a little different in this version, as you'll see on the next episode of Final Fantasy III, the Stream Edition. So thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you checking out the stream, and I will see all of you on the next one, which probably isn't going to be tomorrow. I have to cook and make sure this kink is gone tomorrow, so I probably won't do it tomorrow. Probably be Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'll post the schedule for next week on my posts on YouTube, either tonight or tomorrow before noon. So you should be able to see when it is. But we're doing 4 streams next week because I'm a little behind where I was supposed to be. So we're going to do 4 streams next week. So probably like Monday, Tuesday, I don't know, Thursday, Saturday or something like that. We'll see. We'll see when I go. But yeah, so we'll probably be back here on Monday for the next stream. So until then, everybody, take care and have a good one. Glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. We got a good turnout tonight, so that was pretty good. I appreciate everybody checking it out. And yeah, for Triangle Strategy, it's your suggestion. Okay, I will make a note for it. There, let me try that again. I will make a note for you there, Brandon. And like I said, I don't know when we'll get around to it, but I'll give it a look and see if it's up my alley. And maybe I'll try it for a couple of hours, and then if I'm still on board with it, maybe we'll give it a shot in the future. So, early Heavensward, very late Realm Reborn, something like that. Yeah, it's been so long. I've purged my memory of it at this point. I don't even know anymore. Well, maybe it'll come back in just a few moments, and by that I mean 48 hours. We'll see.